the 9. All 9.5 of my tokens are worth a total of 4 cents.
I think those. I mean, we saw that video of that guy like playing on like 100 phones. Like I think that supply got diluted hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that you can create like a crazy amount of value on a tapper. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Also
I
weird
still
why.
like. Let's see. I sold 150 of my caddy tokens, and I have 28 of them left, and the 28 I have left is worth $12. And I sold the 150 for, what did I sell that for? For 20 ton, which is worth $109 right now.
The caddy turned out to
Caddy
be
shit did so fucking well. I loved that game too. Like that from the beginning, I was like, I don't really care if it's worth anything. This is a cool fucking like stupid game. Like they're all stupid, but at least this is my brand of stupid.
That's sort of where I was too. Also, I liked that you could buy the auto buy thing, and then you didn't have to like. That's what sold me
Yeah.
out. It's like I'm not trying to tap a button every
Yeah, exactly.
hour.
But the whole like bought the game is just built into it, where it's just like, oh sure, pay like $3, and then like now you can also just have it be auto playing for you. Beyond whatever the fuck I was doing, getting my cats fatter, like I have no idea if there's anything utility wise related to this now.
There's still like now there's like a pass like a battle pass that you have to go through, and that's gonna be for the next airdrop. And in order to buy the premium pass, you buy it in caddy. It's like 30 something or 40 caddy, and that unlocks the premium pass, which then gives you a higher rewards, which gives you a higher share of the next airdrop. But that's the only utility I know of it right now. They're also like working on a bunch of crazy stuff that's, in my opinion, too ambitious. They're trying to build like an entire game network and stuff. I'm like, what does this have to do with this cat game? But you know, this weirder stuff is happening in crypto, and it's successful.
Right.
I don't really understand where the value of these tokens comes from. Let's say that under Discord. I was like, if you are going to invest in a crypto, why would you buy a token that people can tap and earn for free? Like that doesn't make any sense as far as like the buyer goes. So
Yeah.
I don't really get like the whole strategy of these brands, like Caddy included, and like I even throw Wuffy in there, is like, can I create enough hype to get people to buy this token based on hype to offset the free distribution to all these people like tapping it? It's like, you really think that's like the best strategy? Like your baseless hype is your strategy. Like if there is no baseless hype, then it fails because it's just gonna be.
I also feel like it might work for like 1 or maybe 2 times, but eventually like that there's an end like to that kind of nonsense.
Well, that's why I said like it can work. Like it worked for Dogecoin. Dogecoin is a fork of Litecoin, which Litecoin's entire purpose was like when the Ethereum or Bitcoin networks become too congested, the gas fees are ridiculous and it doesn't really work. And then when Litecoin got too congested, it also didn't work in the way that it should have. So it's like, okay, provenly this tech doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. And then they just slapped a dog's face on it. And it's like, that doesn't make it any better. Yet Dogecoin's now like an actual, its own network and like has DeFi built on it and all the stuff that's like happening on layer 2 stuff. So I don't know. Like it worked for Doge, but the amount of coins it didn't work for is much higher. I'm comparing it to like TLM on Wax. Like TLM worked, and then everybody and their grandma tried to make a clicker that was the same as Alien Worlds, and 99% of them failed and like don't exist a few years later. Even like Farmers World, which some people would argue is a success, I guess. Like Farmers World is all that shit's worthless now. Alien World stuff is the only one that held value, which is why I'm like, everybody's trying to copy Taunt or Notcoin. If you look at the price of Notcoin, Not was the original tapper, and at one point is worth 2 cents a token. So like if you got millions of those, it actually made people real money. And then, you know, the part of this distribution for any token is like, oh, the team gets 10% or whatever. So I'm pretty sure everybody on Taunt saw that and they're like, it's really fucking easy to make a token, and I can hire a developer for like, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000 to make me a tapper. So then you're like, I'm going to take 10% of the supply for that amount of money and just assume our market cap's going to be high enough and I'm going to be rich. And I feel like that's why we're seeing everybody and their grandma make a tapper right now, because it's a very low effort way to potentially make what Notcoin made, but I don't think anything's going to be as successful as Notcoin. I think like it's the Dogecoin, it's the first, it's the TLM of Wax, and like everybody's going to try to imitate that, and maybe one will be successful. But like Catizen's so new, I can't even say like, yeah, Catizen's successful if you sell immediately, but like,
yeah,
talk to me 2 years from now. Like
that was always the fucking plan, though, for me anyway. Was like sell immediately, and I did, and I was like, great, I made my money back and then some, and I got fat cats in the process. I'm not mad, but I'm also like, I didn't buy. I guess that's not true. I spent like $20 or something, maybe 25 or 30 or something on that game, which is more than I spend on a lot of phone games. So they definitely had something that got me to like spend money more than I would have otherwise. And it worked out this time that I made that money back. Like I said, I got my distribution from Woofy Tap, and I made like, I was the 5,000th out of like 500,000 or something people, and on the paid leaderboard. And I got like 13 million woof from it, which isn't like nothing, but it's also like, you know, it's like $5 compared to like $130 from the Catison game.
Eric, you subscribe. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it.
Yo. Also, the way that they're distributing the Woofy through the Woofy Tap game is like with a vesting term. So even though I got 13 million woof, which isn't even that much, like $5, maybe $5.50. But even though I got that, you know, I can't even claim it all. Like, I think I can claim. Let's see if I pull it up on my phone here. Let's see. What can I claim? It's such a small amount that I like just haven't bothered claiming it.
Oh yeah, I just subscribed. Thank you, me.
Oh yeah.
This is probably gonna be my last month of Prime, so I got to get the last Prime subscription in. Yeah, I think Rock Metal is saying people were complaining about not making, like, they spent more money on Wolf than they got back. I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't know, like, in what world?
That's the gamble.
In what world, like, are you going to make more? Like, everybody can't make more money than they spend. That's like not how this works unless it's a pyramid scheme. Like, I don't know. I just think like
I was supposedly in the top 1% with my score, and I still got like, you know, $5, which isn't, like I said, it's not nothing. It's $5, but I also spent like $6 or something buying. I still have extra treats and stuff. I didn't use all the money I spent, but you know, I could have just bought the Woof and been better off, but then I wouldn't have been playing a game. And at the end of the day, you're playing a game. It's not like a job. It's not an investment.
I think that just needs to be attitude, and that's the problem. Is like everybody goes in being like, "This is gonna make me rich," when it's like tapping your phone screen shouldn't make you rich. Like the fact that that's like even like, I don't know. It definitely happened on Wax with like Our Planet and Alien Worlds and stuff. Like people just expected to make stupid amounts of money for buying into these things where it's like, these are not like mainstream or complex enough games to really attract an audience that is worth the value. Like it's definitely like crypto hype, and like expecting crypto hype to just be the value of a project is not realistic. And I think people just need to start approaching these projects as if, how much would I spend for this if there was no crypto attached? Then like go from there, which is what I did for that's what I did for Catizen. I spent like $6 on Catizen. Like I bought the auto thing and then I was out. I was like, I'm not spending any more. I'm not even gonna do the daily sign-ins. The TON, it was like 5 cents per. I was like, I'm not paying 5 cents per click here. Like, I don't care. And it ended up paying off for you, but like I don't know.
I did the sign-in for like I think I ended up having like 38 or 40 sign-ins, which is like, you know, at 5 cents a pop. Not nothing, but I got over $100 back, so that it did.
But it also didn't pay back.
It's a gamble.
You got to minus what you lost on the Wolf one, and it's like if you spread yourself too thin and do too many of these, like I feel like you're going to lose more than you win, and that's how it worked on Wax too. Like we won in Alien Worlds, we won on Our Planet, and then we spread that into 20 other projects and lost on like almost all of them. And it's like, I don't know. Most of these are not going to work. So like you're gambling, you're not investing. And sometimes you win when you gamble, but like if you just constantly gamble all the time, like eventually you're going to lose. Like you need to, if you're going to consider any of this stuff investment, like know when to take your winnings and go home. Like the longer you stay at the casino, the more money you're going to lose. Like statistically, eventually you're going to lose. So you want to win money, you need to know when to walk away.
Personally, like if you're gonna play a casino, go to like this shit, like waxcasino.io and gamble for real. Like you're gonna lose anyway. Like at least I can blow my wax here. But yeah, I'm not gonna endorse gambling.
I just think there's unrealistic expectations. I also don't think that's 100% the consumer's fault. Said that in our chat as well, because like the way that developers advertise this stuff, like ROI and play to earn, like even the term play to earn is like, I don't know, you can earn. It's like, will I earn as much as I spent on the assets? Maybe not. So I feel like that's, I don't know, the entire thing is kind of just like framed in a way that's around money, when it's like, these are games, this is entertainment, and you're lucky if you earn anything, but like if you view it as entertainment and pay for it, which is honestly how I view gambling when I go to Vegas, is like, I'm going to spend $200. I expect to lose all of this. And I feel like that's sort of how you should. Me too.
Like I'm spending money to play games. Like I like the idea. Like when I go to Vegas or when I go to a casino, like I'll play blackjack. I love blackjack. But it's like the idea is like, okay, I'm gonna spend like $200 to play blackjack for a few hours, get free drinks, and to just shoot the shit with the people at the table.
It's like a it's like going thing. Investing in crypto gaming is like going up to a slot machine and being like, "What's the ROI on this machine?" Like, there's negative ROI, bro. Like you're
always negative. Yeah, exactly.
So I just feel like people need to approach crypto gaming and stuff like that. Like it is a slot machine and shit coins and all that stuff. And it's fine. Oh shit! I said we're in Counter-Strike right now. That's not what we're doing. Yeah, I think the consumer mind needs to change, and it doesn't help that like all of the developers use like ROI and play to earn to like sell their stuff. But I do think that like people just need to smarten up. And the sad thing is like, you know, new people get into crypto, new people get into these Telegram things, and like they don't have the experience. This is their first time doing it, and they might lose money being like, oh, like everybody says how much I made on Notcoin in this chat, so like I should pump money into this because I'm going to have the same results. It's like very rarely are you going to be in on the Notcoin, the Doge, the TLM before it got added to Binance. Like those are outliers. Those are not the norm. And like, if you're trying to find an outlier, again, that's gambling. That's not investing. So I feel like if you want to invest, buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like they're very time tested and they do very well, and they move much faster than traditional investments. Obviously, not financial advice, as we have our neon sign up there. But like, if you want to invest in crypto, there's stuff that you can actually invest in. Like it shouldn't be Telegram clickers and shit coins and like I don't know.
Like there's like when I was like I rarely pitch like, hey, here's a project that I'm buying and you should consider looking at it. I very rarely do shit like that. And the last one I remember doing it for was Overnight Finance, when they had their pre-sale for the OVN tokens. And the whole reason behind that was like, this is the structure of the protocol. This is how much revenue it currently earns in a bear market when they're launching. So it's like there is legitimate like cost and value equations that you can do to be like, this token is worth what they're selling it for and you should be paying attention, versus like the hype or the like chasing a meta or something is just like that's not the same thing. It's also why like you don't see me come in here being like, you guys should jump into Cattisons or like, oh, Hamster Combat, baby, get on it. It's always like, oh, I'm doing this stupid shit and I'm doing it for free. And if you're interested, don't fucking spend money on it. Just jump in for free and see how it goes. And then, sometimes it goes okay.
They're also doing pretty good at weeding out, like, if you don't pay for these things, you're not earning. Like, I did better than you in Cattison, like, a lot. My cats are much higher level. I'm in a higher league, and I earned significantly less than you just because I paid less. So, like, doing these things for free are also turning out to be, like I don't know, like, how much you made for Hamster Combat. Like, even if you played a lot more, it probably would have been, like, under $5 for, like, hours and hours and hours of playing this game. So it's like, I don't know. You do have to pay to try to earn, but then again, you're just gambling. So I'd say, like, if you like the game, like we did for Cattison, and you don't mind paying for it, then it's like, but you have to be okay to lose. You have to be like, I would pay this to play the game, and that's what I said. I was like, if I pay $6 and I get $0 back, I'm having fun watching my cats get fatter, and that's worth it to me for $6. I feel like that's how you approach these things.
That's how I felt. It's like, if I get nothing from this, I got fatter cats, and that made me happy. Like, I'm cool with that.
But I feel like you just have to approach it as like, is it worth the entertainment? And then if you also win from it, that's good. But then when you start being like, I don't know, I have to pay $130 for this to make my money back. And like, if I don't make my money back, I'm gonna be pissed. It's like, maybe you shouldn't do it, but I don't know, unless you like gambling and you're like, I'm willing. But again, like, you have to be willing to lose that $130. And I feel like if you do that, that's fine. But I also just think like anything you have to spend that much for, not even tappers, just broader crypto. Like if I have to pay $130 to get a skin to play a game or whatever, like I need this for access for this beta to play this game to earn tokens. Like, you're gambling 100% of the time, and like maybe you'll make your money back, but like, I don't know, as we saw in Wax, there were so many games you could have bought the pre-sale for hundreds of dollars. You could have bought land for these games. You could have bought a Brawliseum for $3,000, and like no one's seeing that money back because Blockchain Brawlers has 15 players, and so you know how many thousands of players you need to make that money back. Like, I don't know.
Part of the game for that one is also like, man, the gameplay, honestly, I enjoyed. It's just that the like game itself is inaccessible. Like I have to launch it through like some like independent launcher on like my PC. It's like, I want to play this on my phone. Epic Games is a little bit better, but I want to play this shit on my phone.
It's also just hard to get a player base. Like on all these games, you're gambling if you buy in early that the player base will be large enough to make whatever you got worth more than it is. And when you're starting at hundreds to thousands of dollars, like, I don't know, there's some Counter-Strike skins worth thousands of dollars, but like they have 130,000 daily players and have been a game for 20 years with a huge community of people like willing to buy into it. And Counter-Strike's one in a million. There's like, I don't know how many game series have lasted for 20 years total. There's like a handful.
That's the game. Yeah, that's the game that's done it in the last 20 years. Counter-Strike is the one that
there's like Counter-Strike. Call of Duty has been around for a long time.
Maybe like Dota.
Yeah, like Dota, League of Legends. But like, again, if you look at all the games like that have been released, even by AAA studios, most of them do not have that lifespan. And like expecting to buy into some rinky-dinky NFT project that's going to be around in 10 years, which also the skins in Counter-Strike that are worth thousands of dollars are ones that are 10, 15 years old. Like they're super old and super rare. So it's like, maybe you get into the ground floor and this project becomes the biggest thing ever, but like chances of that happening are very, very low. So I feel like you got to follow your heart, do what's fun. And honestly, that's been all of the successful shit that I've been in. Was like when we got TLM is because I thought those friggin' I wanted those crypto monkeys, and it was easier to stake it than it was to mine it. And then it happened to get added to Binance and then be worth thousands and thousands of dollars. But like, I didn't buy TLM. I was expecting the TLM. Like, I was like, I lost $50 when I bought $50 worth of TLM. Same. And
I bought $400 and I was like, that's okay. I'll like, $400 and I'm guaranteed to get rare crypto monkeys. I'm okay with this equation. It was never about like, I think TLM will do well, or I'm trying to like make anything other than get rare crypto monkeys.
That's what lost me all my fucking wax was, okay, I'm going to buy into every new staking and clicking game because like I want to be in early and I want to be there before that. But Binance, and that's like Wax Arena, Green Rabbit, like list all the shit that we ended up playing and losing to. It's just like, but that was all financially motivated, not because I thought those were fun, because none of them were really fun games at the time. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think, from my own experience, I don't think that's a smart way to try to get into stuff. Is just like, oh, I want to be early in something. It's like, you never know what's going to be popular. Also, I don't think anybody in 1997 thought Counter-Strike was going to be the biggest game in the world in 20 years. Like, I don't think you could have predicted that back then even. But
yeah, exactly. Like, good luck. And it's also like, nobody was like out there being like, oh, get in on this, like doing that hype shit that you see for the games today that are like, this is going to be the next biggest thing. Like back for Counter-Strike, it was like, this is a mod that the community made because they are enjoying the like Half-Life physics engine, and so created this whole game, and then like evolved from there. It was never like a, hey, we're launching the next big fucking thing. Like everybody needs to like buy skins and like, pre-release passes and all that shit. Like I've yet to see a game that sells like pre-sale passes and stuff blow up enormous. Maybe big time.
I think having to pay for whitelists is just like a scam in general for like any project where it's like, I don't know, they just found that was a way to create hype around stuff more than like,
I
don't know. You should be able to, if you can't buy in for a reasonable price when it comes out, like the game's not sustainable because new players can't be onboarded. So like, just in theory, that does not work. It's crazy how many just bad practices like crypto games did that we and many others were fine with for a long time.
Yeah, because we're coming from the gaming side of things, where it's like gamers are getting more and more used to shit being free, and yeah, like the meta for Web3 gaming is like, oh, $100 minimum buy-in, which is like, yeah, gamers don't spend $100 on games even when they're AAA titles. Like I spent $60 on Diablo, or that's like, I guess that's the last major
I think
one
it's
I bought.
70 now.
70, but either way, I guess I buy some VR games too. VR games are also like cheaper now. They're like $40 for like a AAA VR game, which is, I mean, I love those types of games, and I'm not interested in spending more than 20 to $30 on a video game experience as a gamer. And so anything that's beyond that isn't. I'm not buying a gaming experience now. I'm buying an investment, and now I need an ROI. Now I need to like, participate in the grind or some sort of like ROI mechanic, and then it stops being fun and it starts being a chore, or it starts being a job. Like I have to make my money.
The other thing is like the freemium model totally works for NFTs if you have a game people want, because that's what NFL Rivals does. NFL Rivals is free to play, and then there's battle passes each month, and that's where they make their money. And like it works. It's a fun game with a property people like, but the issue is most people are not building fun games with properties people like, and easier said than done. They had venture capitalist money to fund their shit, so it's not like anybody can just raise enough capital to not have to rely on their audience, which is sort of where everybody gets screwed and charges $1,000 for land before the game launches because they need the money to build the game. But I don't know, people have been building good indie games in the not crypto industry for a long time, and it's like, did the Minecraft guy have to raise millions of dollars to be able to build Minecraft? No, he just took his time and did it by himself because he had passion and believed in it. And it's like, I don't know that those people are the people building games in crypto. I think the crypto people are like, I see a lot of money moving through this. I want to jump on as quick as possible and get some of that money. It's opportunistic people who, a lot of them, like on Wax, I also said this in our chat, like the amount of people from Upland who built projects on Wax was like half of the projects were like, oh, this is like people from Upland that just very early on made money and were like, oh, there's money to be made here. And I don't even necessarily blame them. It's like, I don't think a lot of them had bad intentions. They're like, oh, like I see Topps doing this. Like, I want to start an art collection, but they ended up like hiring artists and like trying to do everything where it's like none of that shit was in their wheelhouse. They've never ran a collectible company before. They've never created a game before. And they're trying to hire devs. Then they're getting ripped off by the devs. The devs are stealing money. Then their project collapses. Like we saw that. I don't know how true it was. We saw so many people blame Ukrainian and Russian devs for like stealing their money, and like, I don't know. It's just a bunch of people mismanaging money and not knowing how to run a company or being qualified to build the thing they're building. So they hire a bunch of sketchy people. And I don't think all of them were nefarious. I think it was just growing pains. And I think outside of crypto, that still happens to most people. Like most games are not successful. So trying to do it in a new space when you've never made a game before is like, yeah, of course you're going to fail. Like you don't know what you're doing.
And I
super competitive.
I get that like devs will rip people off and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, that's not on the dev. That's still on you. You're the one who vetted the person. You're the one who like structured your business with them in a way that made it possible for them to run away with your money before they delivered anything. Like,
I do think the false advertising is on the people though, because some people are like, you'll make your money back in 2 weeks. Like you'll be making, like people are literally advertising like, and that's false advertising, and that's not true. Yeah, you can say we're idiots for buying into it, but like you shouldn't. Like there needs to be an amount of regulation that's like you can't just tell people they're going to make money and then they don't. Like you shouldn't be able to lie to your customers bold-faced and get away with it. Like if you put out a commercial like, hey, if you buy this pizza, you're getting $5 back every pizza you buy, and then you don't give the people $5, that's illegal. Like you can't fucking do that. So the fact that people did that in the NFT space, I still feel like an idiot for buying into their lies, but like, I don't know. It's not 100% on the buyers when like the people are advertising stuff that it's just not true. Like there needs to be,
or they have roadmaps of things to come that you're like buying assets for, and then they just like abandon those projects.
Yeah, that was like 90% of the projects had these really ambitious roadmaps and just didn't ever hit them. And I don't know. I don't think that's okay. So I do think there's a learning curve, and we've been doing it for a while. So like now we're like, yeah, we don't buy into shit based on like the ROI promises or the roadmaps or any of that stuff. It's like, do I like the product enough to pay for whatever they're doing? And it's like, the answer is no. I wouldn't be okay losing my money on this. Then avoid it. And we miss out on stuff like didn't buy into big time because it's too expensive. Then big time blew the fuck up. But like,
Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
would have
I
made
still
me.
made hundreds of dollars worth of assets playing big time, and I paid nothing. So that's fine for me. I don't need to be
Yeah.
the guy who made thousands when I could lose all of that money when I did
Yeah.
10 times over on other projects.
I'd put it like this. I got into crypto about 10 years ago now, right? In 2014, I got kind of like serious about mining Bitcoins and like have been paying attention to the space since then. In 10 years, that event of like buying into TLM before it was listed on Binance happened to me one time with TLM on Binance. Like, I mean, I wasn't chasing shitcoins ever, but like, yeah, it's not something that happens like often. I mean, you definitely read about it and see it like a lot in like forums and like news articles and stuff about people like, you know, hitting the jackpot and like turning $1 into $1 million or something. But like when it's you actually doing this stuff, or like in my experience, that it's like very unlikely to happen. And when it did happen, I was like in disbelief about it too. Like when I saw the announcement and I saw that like they had halted trading on Wax when like shortly before Binance, and then you could only really see what the price was going to be on like fly by night exchanges until the trading actually started. And you know, I'd look at my wallet and it's like, oh, this is now it says it's worth $100,000, and it was $400 like 3 days ago. Obviously, it ended up not, going to market at those rates, and I think it ended up going to market at like 40,000, but still like insane, like 100 times what I paid for it. And while like, I bought Bitcoin in 2014, and sure you could say like, yeah, that also did so well, but like that whole overnight like success, that just isn't a thing. That's
also,
like
TLM's not worth that now and has never reached that. So like, it was like that's what also how I feel about like big time. As much as I think big time's cool, I don't think the value for the stuff in big time is accurate. And like, if I had that shit, I would sell it right now. I don't think it's going to maintain value. I do want to address the chat with saying something about Yeet. Hussein Muhammad said, "What is Yeet token?" Yeet is another meme coin on Wax. And then BuzzKing said, wallets have been drained from those who have used the scam link to claim more Yeet. Do not click a claim Yeet. There is no claim Yeet or claim link for Yeet. I believe Yeet, this could be wrong, but I believe I saw the guy promoting it on Telegram, and he said 50% is going to be airdropped to communities and 50% will be DeFi rewards. And 100% of the tokens going through airdrops and DeFi. So you should not be trying to claim it because it'll be airdropped to your wallet if you qualify for it. And I could have those numbers wrong, but I believe that is what the guy said.
Yeet. I'm curious what the DeFi rewards are.
You might have some in your wallet if you just look. They airdropped it to people who hold a bunch of different NFT collections. I don't know which collections, but there were like 22 collections of popular collections on Wax, and they airdropped it to people.
Let's see.
It is kind of a crazy sign that people are even trying to scam on Wax, because I feel like people haven't been dropping fake claim links for so long for anything on Wax because nothing has had any hype. So
I feel like as a good sign, yeah.
If you're running a project that's like, oh, we're doing something right. If people, I did see that fake alien collection made like $700, which is insane. Like people are just buying unverified Funko stuff on Atomic Hub, especially because like if you go to the Funko website, it's a drop exclusive. You cannot buy or sell alien stuff on Atomic Hub. So like somebody had a very large misunderstanding of how that worked and was looking at unfiltered stuff. That's the first time I've seen that successfully done. Like people always make those, but making over $500 selling fake packs is not something that I've seen happen since like 2021.
Dude, I got taken for the fake packs back in the day. I think I still have it in my wallet. Let's see. For the big boy, I think it is.
You gotta turn off only badged NFTs.
Oh yeah, let's see. Only badged.
You just click only with buy offers. That's not only badged. You're gonna want to turn off only buy offers. I doubt someone's trying to buy or scam.
Let's see. It's probably one of these that only has a couple. Let's see. What would it be called? It would have to be called something similar, but not quite.
I mean, just type Funko and see what happens. I bet Funko's on the name if it's fake.
FU. Let's see. It's probably gonna be one of these lower ones. Digital. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it now. But I bought like it was the big boy when the big boy drop happened. I bought one of the like packs on the secondary market for basically drop price, but it was a fake. And they got me. I was trying to like snipe it, be fast before like bots and stuff. This was way back in the day ish too. But what are you gonna do? I suck. It does look like I got airdropped 138,000 Yeet tokens though. So that's kind of cool. Curious.
That also seems to be the kind of like how like when you looked at like Keck and like all those other tokens, like the way they get the word out, their advertising is basically just dropping a small amount in a shit ton of wallets on Wax to be like, hey, and then when you look to go like, what is this token? Then they have a bunch of DeFi stuff up, hoping you'll buy more. That seems to be the meta right now for launching meme coins on Wax. I don't know how successful any of them are. I personally
they got
not really buying
20,000 wallets. I guess you could compare that to like I launched FTW token simply by putting it into the LP, so anyone could buy it if they want to. There's APR rewards, but and then I guess I airdropped some of it to like a few people in the Neon space community, but like nothing like serious. It was like the what was it, like the Crow Neonberg holders got some. But you can see this token got to 19,000 wallets. Mine is in like 70. So, it definitely distributed it relatively well. Although,
yeah, and there it looks like I was right. We're 50%.
50% is in the rewards.yeet wallet.
That's for the DeFi. But then if you look like the rest, like half of it, 25 or 30% is in an airdrop wallet with just going to airdrop, and then the rest. But the 50-50 split seems to be what I said. We're like they're going to be airdropping 50%. Already airdropped 20%. 30% is left to airdrop, and then the other 50% is going to be rewards.
Interesting. I mean, swap. There's only 1.6% of the total supply in the Alcor swap. That was also why I launched my token through the swap pool. I put 50% of the entire supply into the liquidity. So there's a shitload more than 1.6% of FTW available in actual liquidity, which means that if I buy some Yeet tokens, I can spike the price like this because there's only 1% of this stuff in here.
I feel like people like that though. Like I remember when we were talking to Ashiki about Wax Arena, he's like, I don't want to put in a lot of liquidity because I want to be able to spike the price to make the token seem more valuable. That should have been a massive red flag when we were trying to talk to him about fucking. But yeah. I don't know.
It spikes in both directions that way, though. So if I sell my my airdrop, then I guess it would.
Do you all remember AEXP?
Oh man, let's see how that one's doing.
I think he pulled the liquidity out of that. I don't think like you can even sell if you want to.
Ooh, it's on the rise.
It's coming back, guys.
Coming back, yeah, confirmed. Oh man. That is a rough looking.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally have no interest in Yeet, but if you get it for free and want to fuck around with it, I feel like why not? You can sell half and then pair it with whatever they try to farm it, and then boom, you for free are in DeFi. But I wouldn't go aping into it personally.
Yeah, I got airdropped some, which is nice. I might just take whatever I have in this Yeet token and just pair it with FTW and.
There you go. Is it worth? I can't read your screen. It's too small. What's that, like $1?
$5.10. That's
actually not horrible.
Right? If I
honestly,
go to swap,
just $5 appearing in your pocket. That's like I just found a freaking cheeseburger.
That's money, baby.
I'm gonna go to In-N-Out. I'm gonna go get myself a cheeseburger with animal style with diced peppers.
Look how little. Like if I try to trade $5 worth of this, is a 2.4% price impact. I only get $4 back. Ouch. That's why I like deep liquidity. Like if you trade.
There's also so much of that probably in wallets that people don't know that like who knows how long the sell-off is going to last for like, I don't know, people.
Look at this. If you sell $5 or so worth of FTW, it's $4.67 on the sell side, and then you get back $4.67. Oh, how is that happening? Because the liquidity depth is there. But whatever. I get that people like when prices fluctuate. It makes you feel like you're making money.
Blackfang said 1 AXP equals 1 wax, remember. Funny thing is I wouldn't even be excited about that now because wax is so worthless. Like, back at the time, I think wax was worth like 30, 40 cents. So it's like, that would have been fucking sick. But it's worth like 10x less now.
Now 1 AXP is worth 0.001 wax. So, you know, we're going to need 1,000x for it to get back up to 1 wax.
I think Wax Arena might be the most disappointing project for me on Wax. Not because like
they were close. They were close to something cool. Yeah, I agree.
He built a bunch of cool shit. He was the like first person that made a game where you didn't have to custodial stake. It just scanned your wallet.
Yeah.
That was like, okay, this guy kind of knows what he's doing. And then he built a functional like dungeon crawling game, which was actually kind of fun. And then like he was so close to the finish line, then he just like, yeah, we're gonna fucking move to Solana and like just started like going off the rails and never finishing anything. But it was like he was so 2
close.
updates away from delivering what he actually promised. And he was talking about you could make raids with teams and do like team dungeons, and like at the time we're like, we just want to play games on Wax we can play with our community, and we're so close to being able to do that. And he's just like, nah, I don't know. He wasn't able to do sales anymore, and then he just fucked off because like he did too many partner sales and too many like, I don't know, everybody had all the cards they need for the like the boost that those cards gave you. Like everybody playing had what they needed, so he just like couldn't sell anymore. And then he's like, I'm fucking out, which sad because he did get very close to like, I'd say closer than most people to like getting what they pitched. Like most people didn't even get fucking close.
Especially for who he was. He wasn't like a game developer as far as I could tell. He was just some dude. But yeah, that was wild. He got close. It used to be 1-to-1. Now we're 1,000 times lower. So
I don't think it ever was 1-to-1. 1-to-1 was what he told people it would be, which is again where I said like, when these people are not honest with the way they advertise stuff, and they're just like, I don't know, you can't. No one can guarantee a token price. If somebody's guaranteeing you a token price, that's a massive red flag. Like unless they hold 100% of the tokens, and then they can set the price, in which case you can guarantee the price. But once you sell some of those tokens, then you can no longer guarantee that price.
Yeah. No doubt.
Let's do a giveaway really quick. We've been ranting for 40 minutes.
Yeah, agreed. Let me grab a drink too.
Exclamation point neon. We'll give away. I wonder if we have Yeet in our giveaway wallet. It's honestly worth more than I was expecting. Max got $5 airdropped. I don't know how many NFTs he holds for that, but we got Yeet. We only got 15 cents. So it must be worth based on your NFT collection, because Max's collector wallet has a bunch. I don't know. If there's DeFi opportunities, I think what we did with WUF isn't the craziest idea. Sell 50%, pair it with a token, and try to earn more. But personally, I would not ape into it to try to earn more. The meme coins seem a dime a dozen on Wax these days, so it's like, I don't know what separates this from all the others. But we'll give away WUF. We still got 1 billion WUF in our wallet. Exclamation point neon.
Oh baby. Oh, hold on, I gotta get in on this. Yeah, I'm always interested to see like people doing like DeFi things on Wax. I like that. You know, I participate in that myself. I
don't hate the distribution of that token. I like that 50% community, 50% DeFi, like pretty clear.
Yeah.
And then also he's like 0% team allocation. I like that. So like, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like
that's how mine was too.
There's no burn mechanism when you send it from one wallet to another. I'm like, yeah, I don't hate the way he launched it, but I also, I don't know, I don't collect meme coins on any chain. Like meme coins are something I've always been like, I don't understand this, and I'm not trying to hold a bunch of these. I guess like Banano is probably like the only one that I was like, oh, you can get this shit for free and it's kind of fun and worthless, but
yeah,
that was like the only one I ever really went out of my way. And I didn't buy any. All my Banano I got for free or for folding, but
yeah, I know. I was going to mention something about this earlier because I don't fully agree. In the chat, Blackfin said that all coins are shitcoins except for Bitcoin and Ethereum. I would say you're forgetting about the stable coins. There's a very legitimate, like backed US dollar tokens that I'm pretty confident are actually going to stay worth $1, stuff like USDC. And then there's a bunch of like DeFi governance tokens that are actually worth money because the governance voting.
Yeah, I mean, like I would say like Uniswap token has real
Uniswap,
value behind it.
Curve,
And obviously, it can lose the
Balancer.
value, but like I don't know, there's stuff with actual stuff behind it more than just crypto hype and meme coins. Like
Yeah,
things
same with like GMX. I buy GMX tokens, and those are like, if you look at GMX right now, there's let me take a look really quick. There is $455 million of value locked in the GMX market. There, in the last 24 hours, they did $161 million in volume, and 40% of that gets distributed to GMX holders. Since the 1st, so in 2 days, since yesterday, the protocol has earned $137,000 to distribute to its token holders. So the token itself is worth $20, and there's only 13.5 million of those that can ever exist. That makes sense to me. I buy the shit out of those tokens. I stake them, and here's the coolest part about it, in my opinion: the stake reward is paid in ETH. So I buy like GMX for $20 right now. I'll stake them and just forget about them, and I'll come back next year and I'll have made like 10% of that value paid out in ETH, and I like that.
I do think though,
I understand
if you're the average Joe and you're just like, what do I want to invest in? And you're not Max and
Bitcoin.
Don't understand super deep Ethereum. Also, those are types of things that you have to stay on top of with potential hacks and like draining the liquidity of treasuries and stuff. Like, I feel like you have to like kind of be on the ball and pay attention to that stuff. Like, I don't know, like Viper Swap seemed like a pretty legitimate thing to invest in, and Viper token ended up fucking completely tanking, even though there was legitimate value backing it. Due to circumstances out of their control of everything losing peg on Harmony, then everything on Harmony lost value. And like, I don't know, like, but the governance token did make sense, like where the value came from on Hyperswap. So I do feel like once you start getting out into that stuff, there is a lot more risk involved. And unless you're super good at DeFi shit, like it's just easier to say, like, if you're not super deep into crypto, you should probably just stick to like Bitcoin, Ethereum are always safe.
I would second that too, actually. And I would say, I disagree because I participate in that stuff so actively, and I do like see and benefit from the value that those assets have. But yeah, I feel like if you're just buying and holding and not participating actively in those DeFi protocols, then stick to Bitcoin. Like, Bitcoin is sound money, and everything else is utility tokens. So
thank you for the sub, Burst. Burst says 38 months. Let's go. Sick artwork and positivity, and spinning it this way or that way isn't going to save the chain. Much love, Lou and Max. I know I'm a dick. Shout out, Burst.
Let's go.
We also don't think we're going to save Wax. We're not the Wax saviors.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not really about saving a chain as much as it's about like, this is where like we grew a community. This is where like most of the people we like and hang out with are. Like, if it dies, we can move to somewhere else, but it's not dead yet. Although it's not looking hot.
I don't know. I think the infrastructure of Wax can exist for a long time, even if not much is going on the chain as far as like it's not that expensive to operate the nodes. And like they're working on making it cheaper, so I feel like there will be incentive for people to still host nodes. Like, I don't know. It would take a lot for Wax to actually go down. Although I do agree, like, there's not a whole lot of like, there's not really a project on Wax that's going to bring in new users at the moment, which is kind of an issue. Besides maybe Funko, but I feel like anybody into digital Funko is probably, it's been like 3 years gotten on by now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're probably savvy to it at this point, right? Let's see.
Rock Metal said, aren't there ways to ensure a token doesn't go below a certain price where you can't guarantee it'll ever be worth more than that? The only way is if you have the money to buy it back to go to that certain price. Like, it has to be backed by money sitting somewhere that says, if this falls below this price, we will use this money to buy it. And you have to have the amount of money that mathematically makes sense. And short of that, there really isn't a way. That's, I mean, how stablecoins work. The amount of money that is out there has to be 1-to-1 backed. But besides that, like, no. Especially the more of a token that you give out, the more other people can control the price. But unless you have something 1-to-1 worth that.
See, yeah, totally agree.
Rock Metal says, I like the nice natural daylight lighting, Max, even if it's not actually natural. It's not.
It is. Actually, today it is. Check it out.
Oh, you don't have your lights on?
No, my lights are off. This is all coming from my window.
I thought that was your friggin' super bright white lights.
No, that's just my window. It's sunny. I opened the window. It's nice.
All right, let's do this giveaway so we can get into analysis. I have both. I have very bright lights above me and then some natural lighting from over there. And I have a cat sitting in the room. Tito. I don't know if anybody else is trying to do October Spooky Movie Fest, but I think I'm going to try to watch like a horror movie every day pretty much and see what happens. Last night I watched The Invisible Man, it's called. I don't know if anybody's seen that. It's like a spin on like a movie from the 30s, which also had like a spin in the 80s on it. It's pretty good. It's about like a woman's like trying to escape an abusive relationship, their boyfriend, but she does. But then like she gets noticed that her boyfriend is dead. But then like slowly finds out that her boyfriend faked his death and then is running around in an invisible suit. Like he has a suit that makes him totally invisible, and then he's like fucking with her and trying to ruin her life.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like a thriller, but it's like a thriller for like the first 2/3, and then the last third becomes like a straight action movie. It gets pretty wild. I won't spoil too much, but I enjoyed it. I saw there's mixed reviews. I was reading on Reddit. Although, like, if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, it has a super high reviews, but like a bunch of people on Reddit was like, "This movie's so dumb, it's so unrealistic." I'm like, it's about a guy turning invisible. What do you think's gonna be realistic about that, bro? Like, horror movies are not rooted in reality. Otherwise, I guess they could be like home invasion movies, but like, you think fucking like The Exorcist is realistic? Doesn't make it not a great horror film.
That's funny though.
If anybody has
not realistic,
let me know, because I need recommendations for films to watch. I also, if anybody's gonna recommend horror films, I tend to like, I don't like super like creepy environment horror film shit. Like, I don't know, like Cabin in the Woods, where it's like it's kind of funny at times, but it's still scary. Like, I like things that are like tonally not super super dark. Like super super dark horror movies I don't find as fun as the campier ones. Like a Scream would be another example. Scream is something like
you did like Cabin in the Woods though, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. I like that. I don't like super like dark demon. Like I'll give you an example. You're Next and Ready or Not are pretty similar horror movies. I liked Ready or Not so much better. Ready or Not was super fun, and like You're Next is a very similar story. It's like somebody joining a rich family and then realizing the rich family is like super dark shit going on, and that's where the horror comes from. But one was like way over the top and crazy and fun, and then the other one was just like very very dark.
That's too funny.
All right, I'm gonna switch back over to Max. We'll open up this other giveaway in a bit.
Let's look at the market a little bit. We had we had a week, so let's see what happened this last week. I'm on the Bitcoin chart here with Bitcoin, last week reaching our kind of like strength band here and having the candle's body closing higher than these previous two candles. Last week we were talking about how this could be potentially considered like a deviation rather than a lower high, but after like looking further into like TA kind of like like what everyone kind of like is a consensus of agreement for TA, and in talking with Sid also, any kind of like body of a candle, we're for confirming a higher high or a higher low. We're just looking for, you know, the bodies of candles. It doesn't matter if immediately the next candle drops down like it did here. This still is a lower high. So we have been getting lower highs, lower lows, up until, you know, last week we were seeing that, you know, hey, maybe we've now made a higher high here. And so what we're looking for is, and we were talking about last week too, was a pullback to create a higher low, to then confirm that this higher high on the weekly chart is giving us like the first indication that we're turning around from this, you know, multiple month downtrend. That is still what we're looking for.
Fingers crossed.
We're still looking for the pullback to play out too, though. So the pullback isn't complete until we drop, you know, to support. Let me pull up. Pulled up here. We could drop all the way to like 57,000, like 300 or something, which is like here-ish, yeah. So like right around here, which would give us what we're looking for, a higher low. But of course, 57,000 is still quite a ways down. So if we get a little closer to the daily chart here, you can see, you know, we had been pushing up here. This was the week making its higher high. So if we go back to the weekly chart, that run up is this run up here. These like 4 candles moving upward is extrapolated out into daily as all these candles here, because now one of the weekly candles is 7 of the daily candles. So here we go, 7. So over the past few months, we got this pull up. Now we're dropping back down. You see our SRSIs also, you know, on the sold side here, but you can see on the daily strength, like on the daily strength band where we were looking for support, it's not necessarily finding that support just yet on the daily. So you can see, you know, the previous day close did like land on that band here and look like it wanted to bounce, because you see this little wick here, because once we started the candle, we did bounce to the top of the wick. And since then, on the daily candle, so in the past 22 hours, 22 and a half hours, you can see there's only 1.5 hours remaining before this candle is closed. So in the last 22 and a half hours, we pumped all the way back up to get this little jump, and then we dropped, and right now we're actually, you know, below the band. So if in the next hour and a half here we are going to close the day below, then we could see, you know, the next day also continue that trend pulling down, and you know, hopefully finding support right around here, 57,500 or so, which is also where you can see, you know, on our last, you know, when we started bumping up here, this is where we found a little bit of a resistance. We've been kind of like flatlining multiple day candles in a row at that range. So that is our next kind of like, also you could think about it here where we got that bounce on the daily chart here. This is basically our support for a continuation of the uptrend. So what we're looking for in the coming days here is a pullback potentially down to 58,000 for Bitcoin, where we would then hopefully find support and bounce to move back up higher. To confirm, we've now, if we do see that, we would then be seeing a higher low, which is giving us then, you know, going back to the weekly chart, which is then going to be giving us kind of a confirmation here that, you know, we are starting to see, you know, a bottom forming, and the first indication of this range, which we've been in now since, you know, March, so many months already. This range will have basically finished its accumulating and be ready for the next leg up if we are to continue the bull run. So this becomes the base for the next step up. If we do get that, you know, higher low on the daily and we start pushing up further. Of course, in the short term, we're looking for a little bit of a, you know, a drop process, and we want to see the drop find support around 58, 57. Anything basically that keeps us on the daily chart, if we go to the daily chart here, anything that keeps us from making candles with bodies, you know, that are lower than the previous low. So we basically have room all the way to 54,000. That would be pretty bearish to see it fall all the way back and retrace this whole thing. At that point, I would be nervous that we're, you know, gonna bounce and make a lower high and then continue a lower fall down. But what we really want to see now in the coming days is that kind of like find support and then build a base to move higher again. Jumping over to the altcoins with Ethereum, you can see Ethereum's getting a lot more of that delta action. It has a lot more of a dramatic, pullback here. Looking at the daily chart also, it's a lot less bullish looking. You can see the daily chart has already been closing, for months below our bands, whereas on Bitcoin, the weekly chart, it has been closing below the band, but it's been very much hugging it and, sticking to that support range, whereas Ethereum is a lot easier to say we've lost that support range and we're actually below it now. You can also much more clearly see on the weekly chart the lower highs and lower lows very continuously. So we really haven't seen that higher high on ETH yet. And so we are still looking. So basically, ETH is kind of giving us a more of a bearish sentiment right now. And so we are looking for ETH to also, form either a double bottom. So probably dropping to 22, basically we need to hold 2200 is what I would say. So here where we found all this support here, where we were kind of ranging here for multiple weeks or multiple months, if this support bottom of this stuff breaks, which is right around 22K, that becomes much more bearish. I think we can stay bullish in our sentiment as long as we're kind of sticking above that 22 mark. And that's also what we're expecting to see this week, is a pullback continuing, maybe another 5-10% lower from here before finding support, and then hopefully making us a higher high. The Bitcoin market is definitely a lot more bullish looking. We can see higher highs finally forming, so we're actually looking for a confirmation, whereas in ETH, we're looking for an indication that the market is flipping directions. And since we're looking at altcoins, let's look at Wax as well. Here's Wax on the weekly chart. It has been as as Burst mentioned and stuff, the chain has been on a trajectory that isn't super hot. I'm going to go a little closer here on the daily, because we have actually finally approached our kind of 4 cent. This purple line here was the floor of our bear market for a long time, and we finally broke it, and now we're in price discovery mode, looking for the new floor. But this past week during this run up, we definitely came basically towards this floor to try to close. Like I was saying last week already, we want to see Wax pushing above 4 cents again to enter the old range, which the old range is 4 cents to 10 cents. So big old range that we've tracked for years on our already. But you can see we did get kind of a rejection on the weekly. We're also approaching overbought, so losing momentum to continue higher. Going to the daily chart also, you can see we did get that rejection, but on the daily chart it's looking a little less bleak. So you can see we're running out of steam for the sell-off. We're approaching and still closing above the strength band, so we're looking for here, looking at the daily chart, higher highs, higher, these two being a higher high, but then we made another lower low. So then this wasn't confirmed, but then boom, higher highs than the previous highs. So now we basically need to form a low here that is higher than this previous low. So, we're almost at that low now. Ideally we'd stay above here, above 3 cents, but we do have room down to 2.8 or so for it still to remain sort of a higher high, or I'm sorry, a higher low, which will give us a little bit more confidence that, hey, the market is, trying to rally back above 4 cents and into its old range versus trying to push lower to find a new floor here. Still looking at the Wax market though, on the weekly chart, it's not a very attractive chart. It's definitely in a downtrend. So we're still waiting for that downtrend to reverse, and then once it does, we're hoping to see it send us back to some of these previous levels.
Which honestly is pretty dependent on what Bitcoin does. Wax doesn't really not follow Bitcoin, and then also it doesn't necessarily recover. When Bitcoin and Ethereum pumped to new all-time highs, Wax didn't. So just because we do see an uptrend on Bitcoin doesn't mean we'll see Wax recover based on what we've seen in the last 8 to 12 months.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's a shaky, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but at the end of the day, Wax isn't a market that moves on its own. Wax is a part of like the greater crypto market. It needs crypto to do well. It needs global economics to be favorable for crypto markets to do well. And the global economy is also, this last week, we've had some pretty big upsets on that front. Like the what is it? The port unions went on strike yesterday, which is a big deal for supply chain. Businesses that rely on the supply chain in the United States are going to be experiencing delays and price increases thanks to that strike. You also had, I think, Iran launching counterattacks or launching rockets at Israel. That kind of stuff scares global markets as well as just is scary. But that also it shakes up like economics, even when those economic principles are relatively unrelated to the situation in Israel. It's still, war breaking out isn't good news, while war in general is profitable, as fucked up as it is.
I'm so disconnected from the news that like I learned that through. I saw World War III was trending on Twitter. I was like, "What the fuck happened this time, guys?" And I was like, yeah. Honestly, didn't even know until you just said it. I didn't even want to look into it. I'm like, this is just depressing. But I saw World War III was trending. I saw Iran was trending. So I was like, oh, something's going on over there. But
Iran launched missiles into Israel. They're kind of fed up with Israel, like, what's happening in the Gaza Strip isn't
not to get too off topic. We had a question in the chat, which I should have opened by saying we're not financial advisors, so don't necessarily take the advice of strangers on the internet on how to spend your hard-earned money. But Rome J said, "Hey guys, newbie here. What are the best crypto now to start with long-term investing? Not a big investment, around $1,000 to $2,000. So I guess hypothetically, if you had $1,000 to $2,000, what would you buy with it if you're a crypto newbie and you don't necessarily like know the ins and out and the deep depths and the cracks of layer 2 DeFi?"
Yeah, so that's where I'm like the bad person to ask, because I would do stuff that's way beyond what most newbies would be comfortable doing. And so if I was a total noob, I didn't really know what I was doing, I would start by sticking to an exchange like that's in your jurisdiction. So assuming that you're in the United States, I would go with something like Coinbase, Gemini, or Kraken, anything that's headquartered in the United States. And so you have, legal recourse should something go wrong. Secondly, I would stick to, like we started, what we were talking earlier, I would stick to Bitcoin and Ethereum first and foremost. And I would buy into those assets maybe, in the coming weeks or so, especially if you see that higher low starting to form. So if you see Bitcoin holding above like 57,000 and Ethereum holding above 2,200, like that's where I have orders to buy some of those assets. And then once you buy some and you have a few of them, then I would take maybe like $100 or $200 of your Ethereum and withdraw it to a wallet that you self-custody, and then get familiar with self-custody, get familiar with how to participate with your crypto assets directly from your wallet, where you are the custodian of those assets. And then if that is something that you feel comfortable doing, scale it up to the rest of your assets. Don't hold them on an exchange if you feel that you can self-custody them more appropriately than letting, like a Fortune 500 company traded on the NASDAQ be your custodian. Personally, I like to self-custody, again, as a newbie. Maybe not the best move, because you're going to see a lot of like people talking in forums, not your keys, not your coins, don't trust exchanges, whatever else along those lines. It's not bad advice, but if you choose a trustworthy exchange within your jurisdiction and you are a beginner, it's not necessarily a better idea to try to self-custody those assets that you don't understand well enough to, do that with. So my recommendation would be sticking to, the blue chips in this industry, which are Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then using, those blue chips once you enter them to kind of explore the self-custody side of things. Once you're comfortable with that, come ask again, like, what should we do in DeFi? Because I could talk your ear off about how you can, structure DeFi investments, own decentralized exchanges, and then use the ownership of those tokens to vote on the reward distributions from those exchanges, sell those voting rights to other people who maybe want them. There's a whole lot you can do in DeFi and crypto assets that have like actual protocols around them that generate income, and that income is distributed to those assets. And so there is like a lot of tokens out there that you could participate in that are not they don't really require you to be super active, but they will also generate a passive like income for you, or yield for you rather. Income is a little.
I don't think centralized exchanges are a bad idea for people that are not super active in crypto. Yeah. My dad's pretty much all on CEXs. My dad checks his crypto maybe like once every 6 months. He's never had any issues being centralized exchanges. And then he also sent me a text recently. He's like, hey, like I was mining Bitcoin on NiceHash on my computer. He's like, what wallet was I mining to? I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't have your shit written down. He's like, I don't know what it was, and I don't know how to sign into it. I was like, well, if you didn't write down the private keys and you don't have that stored somewhere, that's just gone. So like, if you aren't super active and good at storing your own stuff, then I don't know that self-custodials.
That's a great way to illustrate that whole thing. The whole concept of self-custody is that you become the first and last point of contact to your assets. So if something goes wrong, there isn't like a service, someone to call. Literally, you could ask someone who's a total Bitcoin genius. They still couldn't help you. It's not, it's an immutable system that is, has finality after 10 minutes.
You can recover your password in exchange if you lose it. If you lose your private keys, you can't recover anything when it comes to self-custodial. So you are the security, and that's, I don't know, there's risks for both. Also, like, if you don't know what you're doing and like you're asking somebody for help and then they like are scamming you and they're like, oh, give me your private keys and I'll help you, then you can lose it. Like, that's not necessarily going to happen on a centralized exchange. So it just depends on how comfortable you feel with your security. Rome J said, I'm from Europe and is thinking about Binance, but they're from China. So I guess looking on what's going on, maybe I should change platform. I don't.
I would always stick with something within my jurisdiction. So if I'm in Europe, I'm going with a Europe-based exchange.
Yeah, there's a, like, at least in America, like if Binance goes out of business and decides they don't want to pay us our money, we can't really do anything legally repercussion-wise. If like, like a bank or something goes out of business and doesn't pay people in the US, there's like, the government usually ends up like either forcing them to pay, or the government, like there's that whole bank that went down, like some tech bank that went down, and they ended up like the government ended up paying all those people back. So like, you can kind of trust.
In your own jurisdiction, you have FDIC insurance. If the bank goes under, you won't even notice. Like half of the time, banks will go bankrupt, and some like the FDIC steps in, some other bank buys them out, and like it literally will be like, okay, end of day Friday, the FDIC is like, hey, your bank is insolvent. You're going bankrupt. You're getting shut down. And on business day open on Monday, that same bank with the same name and everything the same will open up again, and the customers won't even fucking know that it went out of business. It's just now under new management. So like, in the United States, holding your assets on an exchange, or holding your crypto assets on an exchange and your cash assets in an FDIC insured bank account is the way to go. And in the European markets, I imagine there's something very similar to structure your investments as well. But I would say start with Ethereum and Bitcoin.
There's euros now. Is that all under the same thing, or is each country different? I don't know. I'm an uncultured American. I don't know how shit works over in Europe, but like if you're in, say, Spain and you do like a German exchange, would you still have the same protections, or does it have to be in your actual country?
I think you would. I think the European Union, like anything that uses a euro, has like a similar like central bank. But JP, stop. He keeps coming up here and bugging me.
What are EU exchanges? What is a European crypto exchange? 11 best crypto exchanges in Europe from SwissMoney.com. What do you got to say, Swiss Money?
Swiss Money.
Bitstamp, OKX, eToro, Coinbase. Where's Coinbase? Aren't they in? I don't think
they're headquartered in like San Francisco.
I thought they're also
They're
in like not Shanghai, but like Singapore or something too, right?
I think that they have like their internet, like their global headquarters is in the United States, but they do
Okay,
have
this is what the best
headquarters.
exchange to use, not where they're located. In a new article. What is the largest European based?
Yeah, headquartered maybe, but based sounds good too.
Headquartered. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm less familiar with the landscape in Europe. Also, I've tried, like back in the day, I used some like exchanges in Chinese jurisdictions, and I had bad experiences.
Bitstamp is what people are saying. Bitstamp is a European crypto exchange.
I've actually heard of that one.
Founded in 2011, it's the world's longest-running cryptocurrency exchange.
Great.
Again,
yeah,
we're not financial advisors, and clearly we don't know that much about this. So maybe consider doing some of your own research. People are saying Binance is Malta. Is Malta in Europe?
Malta is what is that? It's like isn't that like a fucking Mediterranean Sea area? I'm not sure. Or it's like
that's fucking knocking shit off my counter.
Malta. Maybe I'm thinking something else.
I don't know. Something to look into.
Yeah, either way, the idea is stick to something in your jurisdiction and start with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Don't get too like pulled in by the hype around, nonsense tokens. And if you do see something that feels like really like that you want to ape into or whatever, is the terminology, make sure you understand where its value comes from. That it isn't just like this tapping game where it's like, oh, these tokens are going to be worth 2 cents a piece. It's like, why? Why? If I'm just tapping on my phone to get them, where's that money coming from? So if it makes sense, if there is a real utility or a burn case or use case for those assets, participate, but bias heavily towards Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as difficult as it is, because the altcoin markets are so attractive with their like ridiculously volatile price action, try to, if you do get into some altcoin and it does well, pull back your principal at some point. Pull back the ETH or the Bitcoin you traded out of to get into that nonsense token, just to make sure you keep a base of the blue chips intact. They might not go to the moon overnight, but they will still be here 5 years from now. And that's kind of like,
especially if you're looking long term, it's like what has been around the longest and what historically has performed well. I think it's hard to argue against Bitcoin in that case, because Bitcoin is the first. And also, like, markets fluctuate, they go up and down. And if you look, usually when Bitcoin goes down, everything else goes down harder. So like, you might not go up as much, but like the amount you're going to lose is potentially less. And like, if you're just trying to like, fight inflation, which is a big reason why people invest in these limited assets in the first place, like pick the one that isn't going to drop a bunch. Like, yeah, your brand new coin might go up 1,000%, but it might go down 2,000% when the market goes down. So like,
yeah, exactly. I think it's also a good transition to let's do some DeFi stuff, and you can see kind of like what happens in the DeFi market.
Let's do a giveaway first. Before we dive into the next.
After the giveaway, we're going to jump over to some DeFi positions and walk through how to participate in them.
This is on the Wax blockchain. !Neon if you want to join. And RomeJ, I assume you've never heard of Wax, but if you are interested, we're giving away a meme coin on Wax. And if you do want to sign up, we can help you sign up for a wallet, and you can get yourself some free meme coins on Wax, which I think it's worth like 50 cents. It's not worth a lot right now, but that's something you're interested in, just let us know. We're happy to walk you through how to sign up.
And it's also with those 50 cents, you can then, participate in the DeFi kind of stuff that we're about to get into. And it's like Wax is kind of great for that because it doesn't require like gas in the same structure that like ETH chains do. So you can actually use 50 cents and, practice, which is cool.
Quadrell says he's a neighbor. He's in Slovakia. European.
Maybe Quadrell has some insight on which exchanges are like most trustworthy.
I do like that about crypto, though. That is like, I've learned so much about international stuff that I would have never known without like the crypto community and talking to people like from all over the world. It's definitely like interesting how different some cultures and stuff are, but also like how many similarities, and everybody's kind of the same, but then there definitely are like some cultural differences that I've noticed from people online.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. The whole international like scope of the market is like that was when I first got into Bitcoin like 10 years ago. That was a big part of the reason I wanted to do the mining is like the nerd factor, you know, of supporting an international remittance system. I think that's so fucking cool. But yeah, I also get why like, you know, people have a bad taste in their mouth about crypto assets. I think there is a lot like there's a lot of scams, there's a lot of BS, which is why we're like, you know, oh, thank God he left me alone and now he's bugging you.
He's hanging. He's got the one leg off the table.
Yeah, he's such a cutie. He's a little devil though.
He's a long cat. Like when he stretches all the way out, he's long. Long cat.
Yeah, he's long.
All right,
Long cat
I'm gonna
style.
start this giveaway. Then yeah, we'll show Wax DeFi, which is stuff you can do if you get this. Woof. You can either sell it and enter the positions, or enter a Woof-based position.
Yeah, and also the principles, like conceptually, of what we're doing here on Wax is the same exact thing that you would do on Ethereum or any other blockchain. Like all of these, basically, like participating in a liquidity pool is going to be the exact same process on Uniswap as it is on Alcor.
Just way cheaper. If you make a mistake on Uniswap, it's going to cost you a lot to fix the mistake. I'm assuming you can't.
Yeah,
fix it.
Uniswap's gotten cheap lately. Let's see what I have to pay for Uniswap here.
I do think, if anything, Wax is a good like almost test net to like learn. If you want to like, if you have $5, you can do a bunch of different stuff with it. Whereas like $5 is not going to do a lot for you on Ethereum. For that, I think Wax is still pretty useful for, even if it isn't the best chain. But also, we run an NFT collection for those unaware, and we started on Wax because they had like a MLB cards, they had like Garbage Pail Kids and a bunch of collectibles and stuff. So we started out in that realm. Well, on Wax for NFT stuff, but we were into crypto stuff before. But
yeah,
that's where we started streaming and making content for, is like collecting NFT and playing games and stuff. So we have our own collection over there, and that's honestly why we're still on Wax. If we didn't start our own collection on Wax, I don't know that we'd be as active on Wax, but the community we formed here was mostly on Wax. So yeah, we're sticking around because of the people we met, and we still think it's a pretty cool chain, even though like I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. If someone's like, what crypto should I buy? Wax is not on the list of crypto I'm telling people to buy.
Yeah. No, not for me either.
Twelter, congratulations. You won yourself 1 million Wolf tokens.
When people ask what they should buy, I always break it down into like, there's categories in the crypto like world that kind of encompass what all these tokens are. And like the very broad categories are like layer 1 chains, such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Like those are blockchains that, you know, are supported by their own network of hardware and software and all that stuff running and actually physically existing. The next category would be a layer 2 chain, like Arbitrum, Optimism, Base Chain, you know, like Polygon. All of those are layer 2 chains. They're built on top of layer 1 chains, such as, you know, Ethereum. Polygon is built on Ethereum. Arbitrum is built on Ethereum. And what that means is that all the transactions that you do on the layer 2 chain are all pooled together with everybody doing those transactions, and then are broadcast as a single transaction to the layer 1 chain, which makes the transaction fees on the layer 2 chains significantly lower. The next thing would be then utility tokens and like DeFi assets. So like tokens like Uniswap, Curve, Balancer, Aerodrome, those types of assets, you know, that they represent ownership and voting rights in exchanges. So like this is an exchange that I have pulled up on my screen here. And you can see if I swap 0.05 ETH, I would get 118 USDC. And it's going to cost me $3.53 in gas fees. So, you know, not insane, but not cheap. I could instead go, you know, to a different blockchain and do this for much less. So if we come here and do the same thing in Arbitrum. So we'll connect to Arbitrum. We'll say ETH, we'll do the same 0.05 ETH, 118. So we're getting the same amount here, but look at the fee, 0.01. So now instead of paying $3, we're paying less than a penny in gas. And so that's why the layer 2 chains are valuable and worth.
Get into Wax DeFi before we get way too off the rails in explaining theory of all different tokens on all chains.
You're right. Okay, so let's get into some. So we looked at the market. We're expecting a little bit of a fallback and hoping to see a higher low forming so that we can get confirmation that the markets are turning around in the coming months and continuing a bull run. We haven't seen the confirmation that the bull run that we've experienced so far has ended, but we're also getting to a point where, it's pulling down and starting to look bearish, and we need to see it, turn around. And we're getting the early signs of that with this higher high. Now we want to see a higher low. And so we're looking for a little bit of a pullback, followed by hopefully some more upward price action in the coming weeks. With that in mind, let's jump over to an exchange on Wax. So this is Alcor. I'm going to log into, so on our stream, we made a wallet, and we started this series by putting $10, buying Wax, creating a brand new wallet, and then starting with the $10, which at the time was about 100 Wax. And since then, every week we've come on stream, and we've only on stream once a week logged into that wallet and moved those assets around, hopefully with the intention or with the goal of earning more Wax. At this point, it's been about 2 years, and we've more than 5x the amount of Wax that we have without adding more money, just by participating in DeFi. So let me show you what we've done last week, how it's done, and what we want to change about it moving into the next week. So I've just logged into the wallet up here. We're on our DeFi wallet. I'm going to go over to the Earn and then the Pools tab, and this will show us what we have in Pools. I'm distracted by the little kitty.
You almost stepped on my keyboard. He stopped our stream last week. You somehow stepped on a button that ended the stream. Had to smack him away.
He's done stuff to my computer that I don't understand how he did it. He did some weird shit where it broke half of my screen, and I couldn't fix it without restarting the computer. I was like,
he's done that to me too.
How did you do that?
Smashing the keyboard.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could.
These cats are IT cats. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, no doubt. They're definitely little devils. Okay, so first things first, let's go over here. I'm going to click on the Farms tab. The Farms tab is going to show us liquidity pools that are incentivized. So here in this APR section, we can see there's rewards being paid to these pools. So all you need to do is participate in the pool, and then you earn these rewards. The rewards are paid in real time. Every second or 2 seconds, you'll see the balance trickle up. So if I toggle the staked only, we can see the 3 of 4 pools that I'm in. Today is Wednesday. If I go back to my pools here, the LS Wax pool resets every 7 days and requires a restake. So let's start by doing that. On the Farms page, I'm using my hardware wallet. I'm going to sign into this bad boy. Oh, actually, no, I don't.
Cut you out for
a second.
The
DeFi wallet's a hot wallet. So first thing I want to do is here on the top, there's a little button that says stake all positions, and it has a little a little orange number 1. So it's showing me that I have one position that's not staked. If I untoggle the staked here and then look at LS Wax and Wax, this is the pool. You see right here, it says not staked. And you can see that there's a 12% APR to be had should I actually stake. So obviously, I'm going to click stake. And it looks like I'm low on resources. That's interesting because I haven't done anything with this wallet yet. After clicking no, it brings up the sign anyway because the Wax blockchain is paying for my gas to sign the transaction. That's nice. So I've done that. And now I'm staking. So now if I go back to staked only, toggling on this little thing right here, and I'm going to refresh since it's being chunky. Now we should see all 4 of our liquidity pools here earning their rewards.
I'm also mine now that you reminded me.
Yeah, today's the day. So here you go. Now all 4 of our pools are staked, and then we can see that there is a trajectory, like a runway here, the remaining time that these rewards are being paid for. So the first thing I want to do is always check, because we're not going to be messing with this wallet until next week, Wednesday. I need to make sure we have at least 7 days of runway, which the liquid stake wax actually will be out of range again, and we'll be able to restake it again. That works perfectly. The only other one that I see that has, a remotely close coming update is Wax Neon, but I also have insider information from the team behind the Neon rewards that those rewards are going to be renewed. And so I'm not so worried about that. Even if I was, 11 days gives me time to, withdraw from this next week. So I'm okay with this. 41% is now our lowest APR. The other thing we're earning here is 66. Okay, and then here we're still in the Rook wax pool, and this one's still doing very well. Over 100% APR being paid to us, and the let me jump over here. The Rook price in terms of wax has been very stable, which honestly makes a lot of sense because there's so much liquidity for it. I don't think anyone other than the creator of the token could really tank this price in a significant way. So here you can see this is the daily chart for this token. Ever since, I think the creator is the one who kind of like pumped this super hard by like buying out of his own pool, and then after buying it, adding the counterpart liquidity to this. So if we look back here on Alcor, you can see the total stake here. There is 890,000 liquid staked wax in the counterpart liquidity to this. That's huge. If I go back to this, that's the second deepest liquidity pool on Alcor that has incentives, following Wax USDC here. So yeah, very, very deep liquidity, very easy to see why the price is staying stable, and at 100% APR, I'm definitely sticking around for this one. Next, I'm still assessing what we want. I'm staying for the Neon. I like Neon. I'm a little biased, obviously, but I think Neon is an easy token to like pair with Wax because it doesn't have an inflation rate. The only way to get it is to basically buy Neon Space NFTs and burn them. So there is a zero cost.
I just hit up Avril asking him if we can refresh the rewards.
Nice.
In case sometimes it takes like a week to get through to him, so I'm putting the buffer in now.
No. Yeah, perfect. But yeah, so this one I don't mind, and like we started with 25 wax on this. I think look here, you can see now we have 26 wax. So we're doing, our actual liquidity that we added to this is still in the green while we're also earning this APR. So wonderful, no real reason to leave. Same story for the Rook. And then the LS Wax LSW pair, both of these tokens are liquid staked wax. So both of them are wax plus wax staking rewards baked in. So there's really no risk to that because our wallet, our objective for our wallet is to earn more wax. And this pool is going to be earning us 12% APR while having exclusive exposure to staked wax. This is a no-brainer for me. Right now, we're still kind of like uncertain, or there's not necessarily any other LPs that I've seen that have really called for us to move some of this liquidity. But let's take a look. So if I'm going to go to Unstaked now and see if there is other pools that maybe we should like ape into, or also I should check our wallet. Did we get dropped anything? No.
My LS Wax position's doing pretty good. Like not including all of the farm rewards, I have $10 in fees to claim.
Yeah, that's legitimate. So what Liz is saying there is if we go to the pool itself, here's the LS Wax position. This one, you can see when I mouse over here, I've actually set a range. I'm going to zoom in. You can see that I've supplied liquidity to this pool at a range, between 0.98 or whatever and 1.01. And you see that range now is consisting mostly of LS Wax because we're almost at the bottom of the range. But you can see that as I'm in this range, I'm earning fees from the trading happening here. The pool charges 0.3% in swap fees. And so every time a swap happens, I get my pool share, so 0.36% of the 0.3% of the total volume paid. So each month here, or each week, there's $367 that traded through this pool. 0.3% of that was paid to the liquidity supplying, so me, and I happen to have supplied 0.36% of that total. So you could do the math to see how much you earned, or I could just look here, unclaimed fees, and you see I made 1 LS Wax and 0.7. Sorry, 1 LSW and 0.7 LS Wax. So between these two pools, I've made, almost 2 wax in a week. And on top of that, if I come to my rewards here and go to, I guess, mouse over claim all, or I guess I got to go to farms.
I've made like 300 LS Wax and farm rewards. I'm cooking in that pool.
Yeah, so here you go. I have 2 more LS Wax just from farm rewards. And if I toggle to my stake position, LS Wax is being paid from this pool and from the Rook pool. So between those 2 pools, I've made an additional 2 wax. So great. That's exactly what we want. So the first thing I'm going to do is, because I got that error about CPU resources, I'm going to click the little 0, like the balance up here, and send myself over to the Block Explorer and make sure that, I actually do have stake.
Looks like you have a ton of CPU if that's your wallet.
Yeah, seems fine. So I don't know why I got that error. So I'll just try continue here. So I don't know that I want to move any of this stuff anywhere else. The only other position that we have here is on Taco, and we should check that out. So I'm going to log into Taco.
Good morning, Winterfell. Right now it's almost evening here. I don't know what time in the morning. I feel like whenever you say good morning, it's usually like 2 a.m. where you are. I don't know if I remember your time zone correctly, but sunny skies here in Los Angeles, California. We're having a bit of a heat wave here, and like 90 plus degrees, or it will be the next week or so.
Here we go. So if I go to count and rewards on Taco, you can see we've also earned 140,000 woof and 0.6 Taco. I think this is actually from multiple weeks because we've had an issue logging into Taco, and we just kind of let this ride.
Let it ride.
Yeah, so this one I'm going to say, withdraw multiple, select all, and I'm going to pull this liquidity back. We still have Woofy Wax liquidity on Taco Swap. And so if I go to my liquidity pool here, you can see we still have about almost 8 million woof paired against 100 wax. So this is like 222 wax worth of liquidity, plus what we have on Alcor, which I'm going to add up really quick. This is 50, another 100. This is 160. So between these 3, we're looking at 260. And then this one here is 200. So 460 plus 780 or so wax from starting at just 100 wax 2 years ago. And all we did was do exactly what I'm showing now, supply liquidity to these pools, and then come and claim the rewards. So you saw me claim the rewards on Taco already. I'm also going to claim the rewards here on Alcor. There's a claim all button here. You can also, if I go to farms, there's the claim all button here. So I'm claiming them all. There we go. So now I've gotten all my rewards. I'm also going to go to the pools tab and click claim all here. This is going to claim all the actual like swap fees that have been accumulating. So if I now go back to like LS Wax, you can see that the unclaimed fees have dropped to 0 now. So I've claimed everything. So with everything claimed, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to click manage on our LS Wax position. And I'm just going to compound the wax that we claimed from the actual like rewards just now into this pool by clicking increase liquidity and then adding the LS Wax plus whatever counterpart it requires. So I'm just going to do that as a way to kind of like stick what we made from this pool back into it. So we're done doing that. The rest now is going to be up to what do we want to do with these assets. So it looks like we have about 20 cents worth of woof, 11 cents worth of rook, and some LS Wax.
So much random stuff in there. HTT, Keck, Aqua.
Yeah, we got it. I don't know.
Tokyo.
A good amount of this stuff also came from like when we staked honey. because Honey
Oh
used
yeah,
to
that would
pay
make
in like a
sense.
whole basket of stuff. So like we got a bunch of nonsense. But yeah, like, and some of the stuff was stuff we were farming for a week. It looks like there's some yeet. I don't know. I didn't buy this, so it looks like we got airdropped 60 or 0.6 yeet. That's cool.
They must have airdropped to people. Maybe like if you're in like a wolf farm or something, they airdropped everybody in there.
Must be because I was in the wolf farm on Taco here, and I'm sticking around here for now. So if I go back, I'm gonna go on Wax on Edge and just take a look at the price chart of Wolf in Wax, and it has been pretty dismal. But you know, a decent part of this, I'm gonna go to the daily chart here. A decent part of the sell-off could be in part like accredited to the launching of like all the rewards tokens on Ton. They haven't really introduced liquidity on Ton that I've seen, so it could be like people were dumping out of it. Also, Woof has been on a tear since it like dropped. So you can see it's actually still above where it was in terms of Wax when it first was airdropped to everybody.
I saw people in the in the Discord asking how to bridge over to Wax. So does
it
I
is
mean, I don't
possible.
know
I've
how
done it.
successful it is, but it's successfully getting people who want to dump it to move it over to Wax, even if they haven't heard of Wax.
Yeah, it works. I've tried it. In the Discord, they were also suggesting using Solana, which I was like, I don't know. I like Wax. But if you do want to know that, also here on Alcor, there's this bridge section, and then here's the Wax token bridge. So if you click on that, this is how you bridge. So you choose, Ton chain here. Connect your Ton wallet. Next step, connect, and then you could swap from Ton to Wax. If you actually have Woof, it'll show up here, and then you can send it. It's pretty straightforward. You can see if I go to history, or see, you can see I've bridged from Ton and I did USDC also into Wax from Solana just to test that. But like here from base, this is from Ton. So yeah, I mean it works. I've tested it extensively. Next, what do we want to do next? We have some Rook and we have LSW, and look at this. This is an even parts. We have 11 cents and 11 cents. This is kind of too perfect to not compound. So we're going to compound it. I'm going to go back to earn, pools, Rook, LS Wax. We already know this one's paying 100% APR. So I'm just going to click increase liquidity. Because our range here is 0 to infinity, it's going to require equal parts, which is why I was excited to see we already have equal parts in our wallet. And so I'm going to add 11 cents on both sides of that as well. So we're basically taking what we earned in reward yield and compounding it into our pool to add more rewards. Wonderful. So next we have Wax HCC. This one's also, we got into this pretty early. If I look at the HCC price, HCC, it had a pretty nice like pump after they started adding the rewards, and then has been kind of like, here, this big old pump, and then has been kind of like selling off a bit. We actually got into it like here. And so, we're still in the green in the sense that we put in 50 Wax, and you can see if we go to manage, we now have 27 on the Wax side, and because this is again 0 to infinity, we can extrapolate that this amount of counterpart asset is going to be worth the same as the Wax. So between these two, this is actually going to be like 55 Wax. So great, we're up like 10% in terms of Wax, and we're still earning. What was the APR on this guy? 72%. That's pretty solid. I'm still here for this one. I say let's see if we can compound into this one as well. Let's go back to the wallet and see, do we have, it's only half a penny. It's probably not worth doing anything with it. Let's just see, what do we still have that's worth anything more than like 2 cents? And that's going to be our Woof. So I think the next thing we want to do is taking our Woof and adding it to another farm here. I don't think this farm is the most attractive farm that we're in. If I go to the meal pool and take a look, I think we're only making like less than 20%, I imagine. So I clicked on meal here on Taco, and then I toggled to steak so that it would load faster, but that was a failed effort. It's taking a sweet time to load. I don't even have a VPN on. I don't know. That's just super slow. Well, I can't not see. I want to see what this is. So I'm just gonna hit refresh. I think it got like hung up somewhere. Let's see, staked. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, 15% APR here. It's not bad. It's not amazing, but we're also running out 16 days. So we have 1 week left, I think, to earn the APR here. So maybe next week we'll decide if we want to cut from our stake here. We still have 200 wax, so this will be a nice thing to distribute. And especially considering that, actually, you know what? This is, I'm like talking my way out of holding that position. So check this out. When we're looking at the pools that we're in, we see that Rook and Wax have been very stable in terms of its price action, but it's also earning us 100% APR, 105. Comparing that to the negative price action of Woof token with the lackluster APR of 15%. Here's the price action for Woof. And let's compare that to the price action of Rook real quick here on the same scale. Rook. So literally during the same amount of time, Rook has been flat and Woof has taken a huge jump. So what I want to do is I want to distribute let's say half of what we have in this pool back into this pool. So now you can actually see how to do this stuff, since I've only really been claiming rewards. So let's actually go through and, you know, create liquidity, split liquidity, and all that stuff. So I'm going to go to the liquidity tab here.
See, they're recently added. There's one called Ponzi/Wax.
Oh, man.
Trying to buy me some Ponzi tokens.
Yeah, they'll come up here, or the highest APR. It's still dark matter. I'm still in this pool. I make like 200 wax a day from my initial, and I've already pulled back all of my initial principal. This one is great. I'm just gonna let this ride forever. But yeah, like here, Ponzi wax. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on this, and you can fuck around with whatever you want. Like, look, this APR is insane. 2000% is huge. I'm just worried that, you know, the price of the DMatter token is going to tank at a rate of 2000% APR, because I don't know that there's going to be a burn mechanic that can absorb this amount of printing. And yeah, who knows? We'll see. It's I don't know enough about the tokenomics. I literally just aped into this for the APR on my own wallet, and that's not something I feel like we missed the moment to do that with this wallet, since we're only doing this once a week, and you know, you're not paying that close attention. We didn't see this in the opportune moment, and now I'm a little gun shy to jump in. But what I am going to do is come here, and I'm going to say remove, and I'm going to remove 50% of this liquidity. That's going to give us 55 wax, and the equivalent of 55 wax in Woof, which is about 3.9 million. So sign that bad boy. And just like that, we've withdrawn those assets. If I go back to Alcor and then click on my wallet
asking
now,
how much did you put in to get 200 wax a day?
I think that's the last. Let's see. I put in 1,500 wax initially, and then I added 800 more wax, and then since then I've pulled out like 2,500 wax, and I still get 200 wax a day. Here, I'll show you. So if we go here, log out, log in.
Wax printer go brr.
It is, yeah, it was one I mentioned it last week too, where I was like, hey, I got into this. I don't know that we should, but man, it's printing money.
Last week, when I got if you're going to get into it, you should monitor it daily because it could change rapidly.
Exactly. So if I go to liquidity now, this should be on the wax side of things. This should be, what is that? 15 plus 4. So this should be 1,900 wax, and it still is. It's actually more than 19 in 1,998. Like, so I'm actually up almost 100 wax. Total. Yeah, and so this is about 4K wax total, and then you can see if I go to meal and staked, it earns me every day 0.001. And if I go to swap that amount, right, I gotta wait for this to load. Here, dark matter. Oh, actually, here's the amount I made last night, 225 wax. And that's on 4,000 wax every 24 hours. So you're making back your 4,000 wax in relatively short order, should this hold up. of course, I bought into this shit like here. And so all of this run up happened while I was in the pool, which really went well. But again, I'm still collecting and selling this stuff out as we go. Anyway, jumping back over to our DeFi wallet, we now have Woof and Wax. And what we want is Rook and LS Wax. So I'm going to go to Wax on Edge. And I'm going to take a look. Obviously, I'm going to sign into our wallet first. And then I'm going to take a look at how much liquid staked Wax, LS Wax, can I get for my Wax? And is that a good deal? Or do I need to mint it instead? LS Wax.
Winterfell is asking if you just stake Wax. I think Max's wallet basically has enough Wax staked to do the CPU stuff, but I think Max is more into like LS Wax and LSW because they stake your Wax for you and then you can also farm it on top of that.
Yeah, and sometimes when I run out of CPU, I'll just buy it from Wax Fusion instead of like staking more Wax. Because for like 0.2, 0.3 Wax, I can buy like 200 Wax stake for the next 24 hours. And that's enough for me to do whatever the nonsense I'm trying to finish doing. But here, look, if I swap now 56-ish Wax, I'm going to get 53.13 liquid stake Wax. I can go to waxfusion.io. And this is the site where you're actually like staking. So you can see there's 7.5 million Wax staked right now. So if I want to click here on stake, obviously I should also log into the wallet that I'm using. So we'll say log in. And like that, I'm logged in. And now I can say, okay, I want LS Wax, so I have to toggle this liquefy. Otherwise, you just get staked Wax, S Wax, which is non-transferable. But here, if I actually mint it, I'm going to get 53.1362. If I swap it, I'm going to get 53.138. This is a better deal, so I'm going to swap.
Also, I guess just to expand on that, if people aren't aware of LS Wax and LSW, it's
yeah,
LSW is Alcor, right?
That's right. So if you come to Alcor at the top here where it says new staking, this is where you mint LS Wax. LSW.
Basically, they stake it and compound it for you. So like they're taking the stake fees that you earn, claiming them, and then restaking them. So you hold a token that represents the stake token, and it goes up in value as the stake token earns the rewards. And then exactly. LS Wax is the WaxDAO version of that. And that one has a slightly different, like
it's separate from WaxDAO. This is an open source project. So the
actual
source code you
WaxDAO.
So. But it was made by Mike at WaxDAO. But I don't think it's part of WaxDAO, just to distinguish.
But that one has pretty much the same thing. But then there's also like CPU other ways that it earns, like CPU rental, and other ways it can potentially compound faster than just staking. But it also doesn't do 100% of the staking because some of the staking rewards are paid to the liquidity pool.
Yeah, but here, look at the current APR for LS Wax is 45%, while the current APR for LSW is 8%. So, yeah, there's a lot more revenue generating aspects to LS Wax. And then LS Wax will also, like bot farms will buy CPU from this, and then anything that they're buying goes back into the stake rewards, basically.
Winterfell is asking, is it better in Wax Fusion or better to swap to Wax and then stake? The better option is whatever gives you more. You should check both. You should type in the number you want to do, see how much you get for staking, and then go to the swap and see if you can get more, because the swap is fluctuating. It could be more, it could be less, but you sort of just have to eyeball and test. And currently there is a much higher APR on Wax Fusion. So if by better you mean higher APR, yes, but the APR can fluctuate. And I'd put it this way: Wax Fusion has a higher ceiling but a lower floor. It can be higher, but it could be lower if nobody's doing any of the extra ones that earn them extra APR. It would actually have a lower because you're paying it out to the people in the liquidity pool. But because there's other options, it has a higher ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. And so here you can see kind of also when you're trading into them, like, I could do 10,000 Wax into it, and I'm not losing much. It's like a $2 price impact on a $307 trade. It's not insane, But you can see 10,000 wax on a swap would turn into 9,495 liquid stake wax, while at the same time minting the wax with 10,000 wax would result in 9,503. So, you know, you also want to check, like, is it a better deal to mint, or is it a better deal to buy? And it can also be that if it's a better deal to mint, you could literally mint this shit and then sell it immediately and like arbitrage it down again. The opposite is true too, although the withdrawal has a 1 to 21 day wait time. So if you do see that like the value of LS Wax or LSW is much lower than it should be, you know, buying it and just like if you have the time to wait 20 days, you can buy it and turn it back into normal wax and, you know, pocket the difference that way as well. The other thing that LS Wax and Wax Fusion allows for, which you can't do on Liquid Stake Wax here, is when you buy LS Wax on Alcor, your position immediately is staked and, you know, compounding the stake rewards directly into LSW. And when you first mint, if you go here and stake, but you don't liquefy, you can turn one wax into one S wax. So it's always 1 to 1. And then if you do that, the S wax here under the rewards tab, you start earning rewards in wax. So you have the option to just stake your wax here as S wax and then come back here whenever you want to claim the wax that you've earned without having to, you know, resubmit your votes on a weekly basis, which is what you need to do if you are staking from your own wallet to maintain the APR as high as you possibly can. And then, of course, if you liquefy it, then it becomes the same rewards are just used to buy more LS Wax. So what I do, since you were asking what's like the best thing to do, what I do is I buy both, and then it's the same thing we're doing in this pool here, and then I pool them together. So I'm exposed to both LS Wax and LSW, and on top of earning the 8% for the LSW and the 35 or whatever percent it currently is for the LS Wax, on top of that, I'm also earning 9% APR from the incentive farm, and I'm earning whatever the percentage works out to for, you know, whatever it's earning here from trading volume as well. So by doing something like a liquidity position like this, you're still only exposed to staked wax, but you're now able to generate yield from the staking, from the trading, and from the trading reward or from the liquidity incentives. So if you're looking for like the most aggressive way to structure like a wax stake longer term position that you're not trying to like mess with often, this is a good idea. Although the drawback here is if you go to farms, the rewards that you're making here, this 9%, it needs to be restaked every 7 days. So you can see if I click on finished farms, look at all these, you know, I'm still staked to all these, but they're all expired now. So what you really need to do is make sure you have, you know, you're participating in something where you have the runway, and if that runway runs out, like here in 7 days, you should restake to it so you can continue to earn that. I spoke with the dev for Wax Fusion not too long ago, and he is working on making, instead of creating a new farm every 7 days, extending the existing farm so that you don't actually have to take an action as a liquidity farmer. But as it stands, you do need to take that action to restake to this pool every 7 days. At some point, yeah, hit me up, Quadrell. I know way too much about this stuff, so I feel like if you feel overwhelmed by this shit, don't worry, you don't have to know all this shit. And this is also, like I said, we're about 2 years into this wallet, and so the positions that we have here, we started with just 100 wax, and we started by being like, okay, let's take that wax and do this, but now, you know, it's evolved into like a relatively lucrative yield farm. And before I keep talking myself into circles here and forget what I was doing, let's finish what the fuck we were doing. So back here, we just bought our LS Wax. We swapped our wax into it. The next step, I want to take the WOOF that we've withdrawn from Taco Swap, and I want to swap that into Rook. I do this on Wax on Wax on Edge, which is this site here, and I can share that in the chat too if you're unfamiliar, because Wax on Edge is going to find me a trade route a trade route that maybe doesn't exist anywhere else. So check this out. We're going to do Wolf into Rook. There it is. And now if I say I want to swap Max, so I'm doing 4.5 million Wolf, and it's going to give me back Rook, and pretty close. I'm doing $1.96, and I'm getting $1.92, 93 cents back. Not terrible, but you can see what I was talking about. The swap path that it's taking is illustrated here on the right. And so you can see of my 4.5 million Wolf, 67% is being swapped through the Wolf Wax pool on Taco, and then moving from Wax to Rook also on Taco. The next 11 is, Wolf Wax on Alcor, and then Wax Rook on Alcor. And then we have a few going Wolf PXJ and Wolf Rug, and then into Rook that way. So it's splitting up my transaction between all of these, paths in a single move, and it's getting me the best possible price. So you can see if I swapped, my total Wolf, I'm now getting 6,826.3 Rook. If instead I went to Alcor and just said swap, and I put in the exact same assets, it probably won't be the same price. So you can see 6,774 compared to 6,826. So by splitting it up like this for me, Wax on Edge is getting me over 100 more Rook tokens in this swap. Highly recommend it. This one's built by Wapaka or Waxpaka. Shout out. He's kind of awesome. This is a really cool tool. So now I've sourced my liquidity. So I have Rook in my wallet, and I have the counterpart liquidity LS Wax. And you can see they're both close to the same amount. I have about $1.90 worth of Rook and $1.70 worth of LS Wax. Close enough. So now I'm going to go back over to Alcor. I'm going to go to the Earns and Pools tab. And if I didn't already have a pool open, I could click New Position here and choose the assets that I want to make. But I already have a pool open, so I'm going to say Rook, Wax, LS Wax, and it's the 0.3% pool. I'm going to say Increase Liquidity, and then click Max on the Rook side and see, do I have enough LS Wax to cover it? I only have 53, so it wants 60, so nope. I'm going to click Max here, and now I have enough to cover both ends. I'm going to supply liquidity. Just like that, it's added to the pool now. So you can see, boom, I've just jumped up, and I now have 140 LS Wax paired against my Rook counterpart. And all of that is now added to the farm and earning this APR as well. So we've basically just swapped 50, 100 Wax worth out of the Taco pool and into the Rook LS Wax pool so that we could boost from 15% APR to 100%. That's pretty much all I want to do this week, though. I think so. We've claimed our rewards. We've redistributed some of them into these pools, and now we've pulled 50% of our Wax and distributed that to the Rook LS Wax pool for a better APR and potentially better price action should Wolf continue to slump. If Wolf does recover now in terms of Wax and pumps up, great. We still have 100 Wax worth of exposure to that pool, and great, that's what we want. So with all that done here, we're kind of cooking into next week with these 4 positions on Alcor and the 1 pool on Taco, which is the 100 Wax worth of liquidity left in Wolf Wax. Cheers.
All right, drink. I'll swap over to a giveaway then. We'll launch one quick, and then we'll do another one after.
Oh, I wasn't quick enough.
How hot is it outside today?
It's like 100 degrees today.
97 right now.
Yeah. Oof.
Today's the hottest day, though. It gets cooler, as in it'll be 93 tomorrow. But next Thursday is when it gets below 80 again. So.
Yeah. Oof.
wonder if I can find some hurricane videos for Off the Rails. There's just a crazy hurricane in Florida that's been popping up on my social media. I wonder if that guy that made that video where he's running like through the rain with an American flag did that again. Florida man. J.R. Since. Junior Since?
Yep. Success. Hypothetical
Junior
question.
Since 82, I believe is his name. You didn't put a wallet in though. My guy, what's your wallet?
Winterfell says, if I have 1,000 wax, what would I do to make the most yield with it? I think so. There's a couple ways to answer it. It depends on if you want to 100% absolutely never go below 1,000 wax. Then I would say doing like the LS Wax LSW pool is going to be your best bet, because you're never going to drop below your wax in that pool, and you're going to be earning wax stake rewards, wax trading fees, and wax trading incentives. So it's a way to boost your APR on your wax to around 30% like average. Right now it's probably closer to 50 because of how high the LS Wax APR is. But that's a really easy like way to do it without having the exposure to like some counterpart that could make your wax drop below 1,000. If, on the other hand, you're trying to do something that has a little bit more of a risk profile, I would do what we just did and move into the Rook LS Wax pool, because that pool is, paying 100% APR compared to the, collective, let's say 30% you're making in the LS Wax pool, and that pool has been very steady. It's not to say that Rook can't drop in terms of wax and then lose you value, which is where the risk comes in. So the risk reward ratio here is basically take on more risk for your actual liquidity in an exchange for much more reward in the liquidity incentives. I've been making a ton in that dark matter pool. I can't really recommend it. But
I'd take a different route. That's probably not the answer you're looking for, but if you really want to earn the most with your wax, I would move your wax off of wax. I'd turn it into Wolf, move it over to base, and then go get into the OVN pool. So I feel like that will outperform long-term anything on wax.
That pool fucks so hard. I'm in here. I moved this one yesterday. Let's see.
You want me to go back to your screen? We're looking at Grubfish right now. Also, exclamation point neon if you'd like to join this giveaway.
Here, look at this
screen.
Yeah, when you pull this up, this is absurd. This is a little tricky to understand what you're looking at, but you can see, I guess I'll explain really quick. I added OVN USD, which is the pool that Lewis was talking about. I deposited into this like $5,000 worth of liquidity, which earns whatever it earns in APR, like 180% or something ridiculous. And then up here, the USD Plus, you can borrow at an APR of 14%. So then I borrowed 2,300 of that, and I'm paying now 14% for that, but I'm using it to buy more. So I started with like 2,700 or something dollars in this liquidity pool, and now I have a total of 5,000 because I have a debt of 2,000, which boosts my effective APR to 300%. That's like 300% on $5,000. That's crazy money.
The average person recommend is going to Beefy. Don't loan yourself money that you're putting into liquidity pools.
That's true. Yeah, I'm doing all this manually. So what Lewis is saying, you can come to something called beefy.com is the place. But if you do app.beefy.com, you can skip the launch app step. And then this is a liquidity manager. I've isolated the base right now. You can see all these different blockchains you can participate in liquidity farming on. But if we're going to do the thing we talked about, isolate to base, I guess we can actually look at top APRs too. And I don't want correlated assets. Let me just.
Holy shit! 2.29 million APR.
Jesus,
what nonsense is that?
In this pool, you're making 2% a day.
That's gonna tank so hard, though. I bet. Like if you're not checking that every couple hours, you might end up screwed.
It's also, you can see that it comes all the way from trading fees. So this is just the key cat is probably like moving in price a lot right now, so there's a lot of volume. But here's the pool that Lewis is talking about, and that Lewis and I are farming. This is just a different manager to use. And so if you're doing this one, you're making 374% APY. So I know it's more. It looks like more than what I'm making on my 306% APR. But 307% APY is only 155% APR only. But you can see, you know, like, you could literally come here and deposit, you know, your whatever, like the WOOF that you bought, that you bridged over. You could come here and deposit. I guess WOOF it probably won't do, but if you swap it for anything else and then deposit that here, you can do with a single deposit, sit in this pool, and it will automatically compound.
My argument there whatever is that I think OVN will exceed in value more than Wax or Rook. Like,
I do too.
Like, we're just talking about the farm rewards or whatever. The rewards might not be as high as dark matter, but dark matter is not going to be worth as much as OVN. Like, in my opinion, I believe in that. If you're trying to, OVN has just been really good for me. Like, I had like a $6,000 deposit, and last I checked, I was up to $10,000, and that was in 3 months. So I made like
Oh yeah, my little sister gave me some money that she wanted to invest in crypto, and I put it all into the OVN pool. She doubled her money since August.
Not to say that
I mean, here
will be that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I think if Bitcoin does bounce and make a higher low, I feel like OVN, there's potentially it goes up even more. But not financial advice, but that's, for me, that's been my best performing position in the last couple of months in like uncomparable.
This was the token that I was telling people to buy the pre-sale of on our stream over a year ago, and since then, like, you could have bought this back then for $20 a pop. Now it's 46, and it's been printing 300% APR for a fucking year. So
46 is also not that crazy. If it it was up to like 90 or something earlier. So if like the market gets bullish again, it could easily go up from there. And that's
so a really quick way to kind of like understand the value of OVN is there's 1 million OVN tokens total across every blockchain. They all, like, the original contract exists on Optimism, and then it's, you know, there's 1 million total, and they're bridged to the other chains, but they all share the total supply. The total, so 1 million, that means 46 each. That means the total market cap of this is $46 million, right? Now, if we look at what does a project manage, how does it make its money? Well, let's see, like on Base Chain, there's $55 million worth of liquidity. That's already more than the entire market cap of OVN, just on Base. On Arbitrum, there's another 11 million. On Optimism, we have probably a lot less, like 100,000 something. But yeah, like you can see, you know, between these different chains, this protocol manages $100 million in stablecoin liquidity, and then generates, you know, 7% APY on that stablecoin liquidity, and a portion of that like is used to bribe the liquidity pools for OVN. I won't get so into this. I mean, I feel like I talked about this one a decent amount on our stream already, but yeah, like this is one of my bigger liquidity farm positions. Like I have, like I showed this one here. I also will participate in it on Beefy, like we already showed Beefy, and I also participate in it on Extra Finance, where you can also yield farm it. So if you look at this position here, I have a similar thing that I'm doing here, where I have 5,000 in, but it's like with debt. On this pool here, I have 4,000 something in the pool, but I'm borrowing $3,000. So I have a total of 7,800 total, but my equity of this is only 4,400. I started this with, there it is, $3,000. I opened this entire position with $3,000, $3,005, and now it's worth $4,480, and I'm earning $33 a day from the yield. Like, this is easy money. I love OVN as a project still, and yeah, like Lewis said, that's it's not a very hard one to do, although it's not on Wax.
The hardest part about that, if you're trying to do that, is how to get the initial Ethereum on Base. That's the part that's like, if you have no holdings on Base, if you only have $30, like, gonna be tough to get $30 on Base, because like you might need more than that to even use Change Now. Change Now.
Oh yeah, I guess because you can bridge, so you can use the token bridge, the wax token bridge, to move the stuff. But then
if you don't have base,
then you'll have
trade your WUF.
Yeah, then you'll have WUF, but you won't have any ETH. That's not going to be a problem soon, but for now, yeah, you do need ETH to use gas. So I don't know if people are aware of, there is an Ethereum update coming out in the next like 4 months or so. That's going to make it possible to pay gas fees with any token. So you can't be stuck anymore. Like if you only have WUF, then you could just be like, okay, pay my gas fee with WUF. So that'll be possible not too long down the line. Also, the entire Optimism stack is about to be merged, meaning that you won't have to bridge from Arbitrum to Base to OP to any of the other Optimism forks. They'll all share liquidity, which is huge, but that's a whole other topic.
I got my screen up right now. I'm trying to see how much you can do. Change Now wasn't working. Let's see if Simple Swap is. This is how I'd recommend if you're trying to get something on a swap. If you're trying to get some Ethereum on Base, which should be your step one if you're trying to use the bridge.
Yeah.
Can you get out of here? Ethereum.
And if you really only have like $20 or something and you want to use the bridge to bridge your WUF, just hit me up. I'll send you like $1 in ETH. Like you don't need much more than that on Base. Like it's less than a penny to do.
You could do 600, so you actually could do this. If you have 600 wax, you can bridge your 600 wax into Base. You need like a Rabby or a MetaMask wallet with an Ethereum address, and then when you send it to that on the Base chain, also make sure it's Base because Ethereum's on multiple chains. You type in ETH here on Simple Swap. It shows you ETH on Ethereum, ETH on Base, ETH on Arbitrum, ETH on Optimism. Just make sure you're on the Base one. And then, you have that. And then you can trade the rest of your wax into WUF and then use the WUF bridge over to that same wallet that you sent the ETH to. And when you claim it, you can sell the WUF into OVN and then sell. You want 50% OVN. I guess you could do the single asset thing Max was doing, but I usually do 50-50. So like try to sell 17 of your dollars, 17 of your dollars into USD plus, 17 of your dollars into
OVN.
Let me see. I think there's there's like a way that you can just click and it tells you.
In Beefy, it does it from a single. You can literally bridge all your stuff into ETH, and then on Beefy, just deposit the ETH, and it'll split it for you. Like. It does it all for you. It's so fucking easy now.
And if you are going to try to do your manual trades, I use ODOS. If you're on like...
Yeah, ODOS fucks. They also have limit trading now, but you have to use a VPN to use it.
But if you do like... Dope. I don't know. Let's say I want to trade my Ethereum. Why is normal Ethereum? Yeah, wrapped Ethereum into USD plus. This is what Wax on Edge does.
Yeah, this is like the Wax version of Wax on it. This is like the ETH version of it. But this can get insanely complicated paths because there's hundreds of exchanges on these chains.
Yeah, the gas estimate is like a penny. So like you don't need a lot of money to do this, even though there are gas fees. You can do it for relatively cheap because it's a layer 2 compared to say trying to do this on ETH mainnet. So I think $30 is enough to try to do this. Like you don't. I would say like $5, you're maybe cutting it a little short because like you can't get $5 over to Base without the on Simple Swap. You need at least like 600 wax. I would say like 700 wax is probably like the minimum you can do this with, but 1,000 possible.
1,000, I would do that too. And then Mocha Twitcher, you're asking Max if I'm saying is OP and ARB going to become one chain? No, it's more cool than that. It's basically if you have, let's say, USDC on ARB. And you want to swap for something on OP, you could effectively use your ARB USDC to pay for something on OP stack. So it's it's basically the USDC. You won't have to bridge your USDC from ARB to OP, which might cost you some kind of price impact. Instead, you can literally just spend USDC on ARB and buy something with it spent from ARB on a different blockchain without a bridge. So it's a big step forward, but like I said, it's like a whole nother topic. It's a
when is that supposed to happen?
when it's ready, just like all this like open source shit, it's like it has to be like it's in testnet now, and it's really fucking cool. But yeah, most people aren't talking about it yet because it's a testnet thing. Like devs are excited, but yeah, I think that's going to be something really cool because it's going to make it very interoperable between Ethereum mainnet and the entire Optimism stack. So it'll make liquidity slippage way lower,
we can cover
and
that
it makes
when it happens. We'll do a stream about it.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about it for sure. It's going to be big news in DeFi. But
do it
I
live.
feel like we definitely hit all the shit that we wanted to hit today, and I got to eat something soon. But there's never a dull moment in DeFi. If this is like your first, exposure to some of these concepts, don't get scared off. I know the shit. We were pretty deep into it today. You don't have to understand half of the shit I said to like actually participate. And there's no better way to learn than doing. So,
that's why Wax is good. Wax, you can do it with $1, and then
exactly.
If you do have a horrible mistake, you're not losing a lot.
Yeah, and you're not like just burning away your money on transaction fees. Even though it's less than a penny on base, it's still 0 on Wax. So, less than a penny is not a lot of money, but 0 is less. It's yeah, it's exciting to be part of these kind of like DeFi things as they develop. Like I said, I got into this stuff 10 years ago. I never stopped paying attention, and the space is unrecognizable from what it was even 5 years ago. So like the amount of progress that's been made, and the amount of, I feel like the amount of progress that continues to be made that I think is flying very much below the radar because most people aren't really here for the tech. People are more here for the money. The tech is really coming up. It's fascinating. I'm here for it, and I'll share everything that I find amazing as it goes live, as it becomes relevant to you. It's also partly why I don't usually like tell people what's cooking in the dev channels, because sometimes that stuff takes years to actually make it out there, because this isn't some company that has a deadline. This is open source software. It gets deployed when it's ready to deploy. That's it. There is no deadline. It is deployed. It comes out when it's ready. That's it. So I'll let you know when it becomes relevant. But man, there's going to be some really exciting stuff happening in layer 2 crypto for sure. All that stuff also makes layer 1 chains that are kind of like Ethereum killers, such as Solana, I feel like even less viable in my opinion. Where it's like once you unite the Optimism stack and you implement like the gas stuff on the Ethereum mainnet, and like why would anybody use Solana if Disney, BlackRock, Sony, Coinbase, all the major companies are building on Ethereum? Like, who's building on Solana is meme coins, like shitcoin stuff, some game stuff, like a few serious things, but like overwhelmingly the big like established institutional players have already decided that Ethereum is the place to build smart contracts.
There's a new Grubfish up. Exclamation point Neon. This will probably be our last giveaway of the day. Tomorrow we got some off the rails.
Mocha Twitcher's got it right. It's exponential progress. It's massive. It also will cut the cost of transactions way down, because you could effectively spend your Ethereum mainnet assets on the Optimism stack without bridging them in. Like, I don't want to have to explain what I just said, but God, it's exciting. Like, it's a big deal, especially because bridge assets are such a fucking headache. Like, bridging is a fucking nightmare. And yeah, I'll tell you when it becomes relevant, because right now it's mostly just like I'm excited, but it's preemptive. Yeah, I'm always happy to talk about this stuff. If you can't tell, I'm pretty I'm pretty into it. It's also like I launched my own meme coin as well on Wax, which is why I love to see some new meme coins coming out. And it's fun. Like, I don't expect anyone to participate in it, but people do. And yeah, I think it's up like 50x since I launched it, which is also like hilarious to me. But I don't know. It's just fun, and you can do all that stuff yourself. So if you ever thought about like, what if I made my own coin? What if I made my own NFT project? All that stuff, you can do that on Wax with relatively low barrier to entry. There's a great community of people around, like me, Lewis, other people who are like creators in the space. They're very approachable. You can ask like, "Hey, I'm trying to make a X thing," and like most people are really down to like share what they know. I know I am.
We give away
So
some of these packs. I didn't realize how many of these packs we had. Give away some of these broken
ooh,
card packs for this next giveaway. Get a ton of these. We also got some NFTopia pins. I believe the next NFTopia is being sponsored by Woof, so there's like maybe some Woof booths. So maybe we'll be there because Woof partners are going to be. There's 20 booths allotted for Woof partners. We are a Woof partner, so maybe we'll do that.
Hey-o.
We don't really have anything to announce though, which I feel like the whole point of NFTopia is to like advertise something. It's like, hey, like,
Yeah, that's true.
we're around. What's up?
Yeah, come kick it. You want to learn about deep cut DeFi stuff, or
I do think we should probably
play
do
some
another blend sometime soon.
me too. Maybe a Halloween one. I feel like would be fun. It's almost Halloween.
Yeah. Just got to figure out when our PFP thing is gonna happen.
I'm scheduling like just waking up now earlier and just doing it for several hours a day because I've been hounding Paul and he's just like too busy, and I'm like, okay, I'll just do it. So I had him move all this stuff into like a shared drive now, and I'm like, okay, I can start crunching these out, and then should be able to get to 750 in like not in relatively short order, and then we'll be able to like choose the songs and do the like neon plus song thing as the final step.
Yeah.
But there's an attack plan in place now that I've just cut Paul out of it. He's basically done all the stuff that he needs to do. I can pretty much do the rest.
I also need to filter out 250 songs, but I'll do that soon.
I mean, I feel like before I get to 500 like completed works, I don't think there's any rush in filtering out the songs just yet. I'm at like 2 something still, so like I'm getting close to halfway there.
All right. Maybe we'll do 2 giveaways. We'll do this one, then we'll give top 3. You'll get a consumer break thing and an NFTopia pin.
Oh, nice. It sounds like the pins floor price went up because they are part of a consumer break blend. Those are a nice prize, says Rock Metal. Cool. Then good luck.
Tito is so cute over here. Kitty bud.
Oh, he slept in my bed last night. It's so fucking cute. Although he did purr into my ears, and then that woke me up a couple times because I had a cat purring in my ear. Honestly, not a bad way to wake up, though.
I wonder if he went in. He was definitely hanging out in the living room, my room last night. Probably when I shut my door. He went to go mess with you. At a certain point, I have to kick them out. They get really rambunctious, and I was like, hey guys, it's fucking 5 a.m. I'm trying to watch them Counter-Strike. Can you stop fucking knocking everything off all my desks?
Oh, what's that called?
I think the sad thing is Wax is not relevant enough for Edward Snowden to have an opinion on it. If we want to be real, I don't think it's going to hit the radar of Edward Snowden in the same way that Solana is. I don't totally disagree with his opinion on it, though. I'm not really a fan of Solana and openly have not been for a long time. I just like specific projects on Solana, like Neon Heroes I think is dope. And I don't really think the chain matters if the project's good. Like, I think games are going to be chain agnostic as far as like people go where the good game is. They don't really care what Rock Metal's our first place winner.
Yeah, I think the most realistic way that games in Web3 will actually materialize is that, like Sony will make their own layer 2 chain, which they're already making on the Optimism stack. And then like Mythical has its own chain. And so the Mythical games exist on the Mythical chain. The Sony games exist on the Sony chain. There's no version of the future in gaming where I could see established game studios putting existing IP onto public blockchains. That's very unlikely in my opinion. I think they want the control that they have with the chain that they control.
First place is getting rare pin and a 20 pack of broken cards. Boom. Second place will get will like get second place. I feel like same thing, but just less cards. Maybe you'll get like a 5 or 10 pack of cards. I guess we have common pins.
Oh.
You'll get a common pin. Is there a 10 pack? 7 pack. You'll get a 7 pack and a common pin. You know, we'll give you a rare pin. We got a rare. Then third place, we'll get the common pin. There's Yamster. I know his wallet.
Yeah, Mocha Twitcher saying that I just caught up to the comment about the take on Wax. Yeah, I feel like since the beginning we've always talked about Wax as being a little bit of a centralized chain operation too, which never really bothered me because of the same thing I was just saying about like, you know, game studios or big IP wants to drop on places where they have control. So the centralization is what affords them that control. I don't think you would get partners like Disney and Funko and stuff to build on your chain without being able to offer them, you know, like the Disney Funko products are exclusively sold on the drop marketplace, which is fine.
All right, one more giveaway. Exclamation point Neon and Yo Wax wallet. I think I'm going to do another fantasy football draft with my dad tonight. Mid-season best ball draft. I wonder if KY is around. Maybe I'll ping him and see if he wants to join us. KY loves him. Loves him a best ball draft.
Ooh.
I think Counter-Strike starts again tomorrow.
Ooh, let's go. I feel like I've been slacking. I need to see some Counter-Strike.
I set up a Neon League, but I mean, I'm just doing my own. I am Rio. Rio's in Brazil, right? Rio de Janeiro, is it called?
Oh, yeah. That's in Brazil. That's where the Jesus
Hunter, Malbs, Flames, Alexi B, and Sui. I'm not super stoked on this team. Malbs and Flames are the only people here that I really have faith in. Alexi B doesn't do really great. And Sui used to be like one of the best IGLs for fragging, but he's been kind of letting it down lately. But all the good players are so expensive in this one. Like, I wanted to stack Navi, Vitality, and G2, but it's like the cheapest guy is 213,000 on Navi besides Alexi B, which is not cheap for this game. And then on G2, the cheapest guy is Hunter at 204, but then it goes up to Malbs 213, Nico 225, m0NESY 230. Like, all these guys are expensive. Same thing with Vitality, Zywoo 237,000, Spinks 219,000. So like, you can't really stack two good teams in. Like, you can get the worst player and the team captain on each team, which is like, I don't know if that's a recipe to win fantasy.
Yeah, who knows?
So I had to go.
Captains are notoriously not amazing.
How soon this starts? I think this starts Monday, so it's not yet. Yeah, I was hoping it started on Thursday.
Boom Shankar, we actually reached out to the Wax blockchain like team and told them to get involved with Oasis and like get on that like years ago. Because you're right, there's huge like, you know, IP owners are on that chain. Where do you think they're going to drop their IP? Like on Wax?
I told Larcy, and then I don't know if she ever did. And then I also reached out to Lucas individually because I have DMs with Lucas, the CTO of Wax, and I was like, man, you got to check out Oasis. Like, they're doing what you were trying to do as far as like onboard a bunch of IP, but they're all like validators over there, which is nuts.
Yeah, they fucking nailed it. And as far as we know, they heard what we said, and that was about it.
Yeah, I never know. Like, they're always like, yeah, we'll take your input, and then just don't follow up on it. I also told them they should fucking hit up Square Enix like 3 years ago or something. Where like, hey man, Square Enix says they're entering Web3. If you want the fucking Web3 Final Fantasy, having that on Wax would be a pretty big deal. So hit them up, and then I don't know if they ever did.
Guess where they're validating now? They're validating over on Oasis. That was not happening 3 years ago when we talked about it, and the reason that we knew they were getting into Web3 is because we read the like end of the year review from the CEO in his letter to the shareholders, where he was like very lucidly aware of what was happening in Web3, much more than like anyone I would have expected, like anyone in that position to know And this was
he was
like
more lucid than people in Web3, where he's like,
yeah,
all the asset prices are outrageous right now, so we need to like find some sort of stable to see what they're actually worth before we jump in. But
yeah, like that guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. 100% like he should be the CEO of Square Enix. Like that guy has a finger on the pulse for gaming.
All right, last call for this giveaway. I think we'll wrap it tomorrow. I honestly don't have that many off the rails videos this week. I don't know if people want to add some, but
Ooh, I'll probably add
we'll figure out something to do.
Good.
At one point, there was like a really long video you said we should watch off the rails, but I've completely forgotten what that was. Yeah, we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos right now for off the rails, so that's not going to last real long.
You know what we should do is, now that they made the VR headset, the Quest headset is now like $299 for the brand new one. I feel like everyone should just get a VR headset and we should all just go play VR games.
I feel like that's more of a Friday stream.
That shit is so fucking fun.
I'm still not super into VR, but
yeah, I don't know. Have you played any of the first-person shooters like with
honestly, I haven't even tried your new headset.
You should try some of them because they're so fucking fun. Like it's so immersive to like, you know, do like a military shooter with like your squad and everyone's real and you're like, all right, I'm going left, you go right, go clear. Yeah, and it's like I'm down, shit, and like you go and you gotta go, like you grab from my chest here. I have like my adrenaline pack. I like wrap the adrenaline thing. I have to get on my knee to like jab it into my teammate's chest to like revive them. It's intense, dude. I love it. It's way more fun than like hitting X on your controller to revive somebody who's down. But you know, it's still a little bit of a novelty. Although I think that this new headset that Meta just came out with is gonna make is gonna explode the VR space. Like it's so fucking.
Don't like wearing a headset.
Yeah, there's not really a good way around that. Although he did just premiere those glasses, but they look like
even those
ridiculous.
Like I get bothered seeing it when there used to be 3D movies in theaters. Like I would almost prefer 2D movies. I don't like wearing the glasses on my face for 3 hours. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just too fucking finicky.
I've had that before, that because I bought a 3D TV back in the, because I used to work on 3D stuff too. It wasn't just because I'm insane, but I bought a 3D TV for my house. And I had a few friends who were like, "Oh, you want to sit at home and wear those fucking glasses?" And like, I already wear glasses for one, and yeah, I'm not really bothered by that. But definitely, people are.
Those glasses are not as comfortable as like seeing eyeglasses.
No, that's true.
I'm sure you could get some like custom made that would fit your face better or whatever. But like, I do feel like, and also the VR headset's like kind of heavy and like you got wires and like I don't know, kind of just like a little bit annoying for me, but. I don't know. I did enjoy like I used to like playing the frisbee golf game and like paintball a bit, so I like it. Yeah. But like I don't know. For me, it's not the same as like I'd rather just use a keyboard mouse and play Counter-Strike than like even if there was Counter-Strike in VR for an extended period of time. I feel like 40 minutes or so, like that's as long as I want to do VR. Like I'm not trying to do like a 3-hour VR session, and I will do a 3-hour fucking Counter-Strike session on my computer.
I will say the most recent game I just got. I forget the name of it, but it's the first time in a VR first-person shooter game where I feel like the scope on the guns is actually fucking usable. Like I'm actually using the scope to like zoom and like to see like, you know, the shots I'm taking. Whereas in previous games, I was just using like a laser sight or something because.
You know what Puddle's Pity Party is? Janky. I don't know what that is.
Oh, I like Random King. He says fighting. I don't know what context this is where you're fighting someone who's 7 feet tall, but what I have done in the past, when I was getting real sweaty about VR games, like PvP shooter games, when I launched my VR headset, I would like set it on the ground and then tell it to calibrate for my height, and then I would put it on, and so I would be like 2 feet tall, and then I'd be running around just like popping people, and it'd be like a tiny target, so it'd be really hard to shoot me because I was so small. It was pretty. Not cool, but fun.
Yeah,
I feel like in VR especially, like scale is really cool to play with. Like it definitely can make you feel tiny or huge, and it's fun when you're like coming up against somebody huge or tiny. And yeah, I don't know. I'm also like a little biased, obviously. Like I love VR. I've worked in VR for years. I owned a headset since the Vive came out. And I still play VR probably like 5 days a week.
I play pretty much every day.
Yeah, I
feel
play
like 5
pretty
days a week
fucking
is
often.
That's
modest. Yeah, I play almost every day. I fucking love that shit. It's super fun. It's also like I'll not be playing and I like have a friend will text me like, "Hey, you want to jump in VR and do something?" And it's like it's a really cool way to like socialize with someone who's not like in the area.
All right, Veeryman is getting a rare pin in a 20-pack. Consumer Break NFTs. Sketch cards. Oh shit! I didn't realize that. I think I sent the 5-pack is actually way more valuable than the 20-pack I sent out. That was my bad. The 20-pack is broken cards. The 5 is 5 full cards. These ones you have to like blend.
You guys got lucky.
I think Yamster got the 5-pack.
Oh well, Yamster couldn't happen to a better dude.
All right, Veeryman Tissues is in second. You're gonna send you a common pin and a 7-pack. I guess there's some sort of blend open for this, so go check out Seabreak Gaming. That's Consumer Break. He's the guy that does the NFTopia stuff. He hosts NFTopia, but he has his own streaming channel collection. They're kind of like horror monsters. They're like mythical creatures.
Yeah, like cryptids.
And then mochas.
I think I have the first full set of them. I think I fell off though. I kind of want to go back and scoop some more of them. I really like their they're like weird blend. They're like weird blend creatures that you can like blend together to make like crazy shit. It's mostly just for fun, I think, but I do like that. Dancing rainbow gummy bears.
You will raid into Jungle Bra. I haven't seen him. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And if we're lucky, he'll do the "It's a raid" thing.
Yeah, sounds like Welcome to the Jungle when he does it.
Yeah, it's too funny. And he'll do like an air guitar.
Yeah, we'll see y'all tomorrow for Off the Rails. Thursday night football after we stream. We can raid into Amazon football or whatever it's called.
Right into the NFL. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for the cheer.
I should make sure our bot's fixed so people can get into our Discord again. So annoying that bot just turns off randomly. Stream Labs.
The cheer.
Log in with Twitch. Yeah, this bot just turns off randomly like every couple weeks. Like, why? Turn the bot off.
Who told you to turn off?
Robot. So I don't trust AI. They just do whatever they want. Cloudbot. What up, Cloudbot? Activate Cloudbot. There we go. That's the bot that like Discord. Right. Our Discord, if anyone wants to hang out or has questions. Max usually is pretty available for DMs if you want to learn more about some of the in-depth crypto stuff.
I love all that shit. So
Friday, I've been having fun playing Counter-Strike. We might just play more Counter-Strike on Friday.
I'm honestly into it. I kind of want to play it on this computer since this would be like the first time I actually have like a proper mouse and keyboard set up and see if that makes a difference. I feel like it might make a difference because like I've been playing it from the sofa. Yeah, and it's like I don't know. I feel like people have seen me like misread stuff, and it's just like because my setup is not like I'm reading things that are like on a TV screen, but they're supposed to be on a computer.
I don't know why you don't put it on the monitor that's like 6 inches in front of your face. You have 2 monitors out there, like you're trying to read stuff.
I have been doing that the last one, and it definitely made me do better. I mean, last game we played, I was like getting like 4 to 5 kills every round. Like, well, every match, not every round.
Peace out, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic Wednesday.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
See if Jungle Bride does his
Oh, is he gonna do it?
It's gonna take 6 regular glurbs, for example.